Welcome. You're listening to the 27th Hour with Junior
and Dre Rocker.
Get ready, strap in, and hang on.
Hey, welcome to the club, bro. Okay, we're on the right track. Like, so you good? You guys find the game. I don't know.
Welcome back to the show.
Episode 30. 30? Big 3-0. Man, that's kind of a little bit of a milestone, I guess. Mm-hmm. When you hit like the zeros, it gets all exciting. Special shout out to Ryan Rally Trucking. Thanks for all your help. We appreciate you. And shout out to all our listeners, man. Everybody that's interacting with us on the show. All your YouTube stuff, all your comments and everything. We really appreciate it. And all our guests. Thanks to all our guests. Thanks James Violet for your intro and Landon, my kid, for the music. And thanks everybody. Thanks Dre. And my beautiful wife that's almost alive. Episode 30. Nobody's even going to believe who's here. We talked about you guys for 2 episodes in a row. I've shouted you guys out special.
Oh, thank you.
So, Rhonda Lewis, Mike Lewis, he's not going to be in here. He's going to sit back. Tell me everything about your business.
That's too big. Okay.
High Point, is it correct? High Point?
Yeah. High Point.
I know, it's so similar. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
High Point Acupuncture up in Evanston.
Yeah. And I do have a license in Utah and New Mexico as well.
So it's a state thing. You have to have licenses in different states.
Yes.
That's cool.
So, okay. I'll give you a little bit of my bio. I think that's a little easy.
Do it.
So I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine. I started out in engineering, and we used to design and build homes, and then switched over to this. And doctor of Oriental medicine is different than an acupuncturist in the fact that you go to school and get accreditation in nutrition and in herbs and different things. It's a more inclusive for Oriental medicine because Oriental medicine is much bigger than acupuncture. It's the only medicine they had in China for 5,000 years, or, well, not the only, but it was their main medicine. And it still is in hospitals, and a few hospitals. It's the only medicine that they carry in a couple of the hospitals there.
Really?
Now. And there's hospitals that have wings that do acupuncture, moxa, Bushton, it's moxa Bushton, Twina, gua sha, different kinds of stuff.
All those words.
Yeah.
They're all different little things.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And most people think acupuncture is just needles, and it's an inclusive medicine to treat most medical conditions.
It's so tricky how it triggered. Is it what is the needle doing? Specifically is it triggering an area? This all a theory, right? It's a theory thing.
Yes.
But it triggers a certain area. Is it doing nerve things when it's doing that? What's the idea of how that kind of works?
Well, if you look at ancient Chinese medicine, because that's how we learned it, it's based in qi and blood. So it's more about a qi, and there's lots of different qi out there. So there's different kinds of energy. As you know, and I think you would understand better than anybody about energy transfer. And when you put a needle in, my theory, and it's just my understanding, is you are amplifying. There's different ways to look at acupuncture, but I'm going to give you my idea because people can look up the answer.
I love it.
But when you put a hard, cold piece of steel in somebody, first off, you're activating that energy movement because your body's going, oh, what the hell are you doing to me? You're creating a little injury. I've got to get on that right now. So it starts opening up those channels and amplifying the energy movement. I mean,
I like that.
Tell me what
I
you
like
think.
That's cool. So as it does that makes total sense. So it's demanding attention.
Yes.
Your body awakens to that spot or that happening. That
Right.
seems to trigger everything, all hands on deck kind of thing.
Right.
Then what after that? Is there more to it, or is that just kind of the idea?
Well, it is the idea, but there's groups or specific points that they've found through the millennia that when they put a needle in that certain spot, so there's a certain spot over by the knee, for instance, they've taken functional MRIs, they've done blood work, they look at the brain, and they see that the stomach starts to react, it starts to contract, the part of the brain that masters the stomach will light up, and then the blood work comes back very different. So their immune system is ramped up. Maybe, I'm not sure all the blood tests. I'm sure there's thousands of blood tests, but they've shown the immune system, your thyroid, everything functions better. Your lymphatic system functions better. So like they taught us in the beginning, that one point, if you only had one needle, do that one point.
In the knee.
By the knee. It's it's kind of down below the knee in a couple of spots. But so
That's so interesting how they come up with this.
And they did it thousands of years ago.
How do you just, you know what I mean? How did somebody have this crazy idea that is just neat to me that somebody even thought of? It's creepy. The sound of it's like,
no,
let's start stabbing needles in people to see if it helped, but it's so cool.
No, not really. I mean, think about electricity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so easy when you think about it. Okay, so you're sitting around a fire. You don't have TVs. You don't have cell phones.
Yeah.
And my back hurts. And I'm going to say, Erica, come rub my back.
Fat chance of that shit happening. Just kidding.
Come and rub my back. It hurts like hell.
Right.
And so then they're going to sit there and bored. And so then they start rubbing their back, and then they're going to rub their arm. And then they're going to say, you know what? When you rubbed my arm, my back got better more than when you rubbed my back. They're going to just notice those things. You're going to be more aware, right?
Yeah.
When you don't have distractions.
True.
So you're going village to village, and you're talking and you're sharing, and people are figuring this out. And then you're going to find okay, this is my theory again. So you're going to be alone. And you remember that when they rubbed your finger or whatever, your neck quit hurting. So, okay, I can't have anybody to rub my finger. So let me go get that stick and I'm going to dig on it.
Yeah.
And then they're going to notice that, oh, it's better, but maybe it's a really bad injury. So I'm going to dig on it more. And then pretty soon blood comes out of my finger. And then I'm noticing, oh my God, the pain is gone. Right?
Yeah.
So it would naturally morph over time. And then when they had epidemics, unlike this epidemic, I mean, really bad epidemics where half of the village would die or more. And so they knew about herbs, but that would really ramp up the doctors that lived to go out there and find solutions because their families, their friends would all die. And they would be passionate about how they would find out. Because some of the herbs that we use are very different. Western medicine is so different than Chinese medicine. We want to take a pill and be done with it. So they'll take, for instance, pharmaceuticals will take an herb and they'll say, okay, what component is in that herb that is making that headache go away?
Yeah.
So they isolate those components. They test it. So then they amplify that component and manufacture it, right? But there's something synergistic about herbs that is very, very different. And when you put a group of herbs together, they're going to be like an orchestra. You're going to get some different synergies about those herbs that's going to amplify, and it's going to work together and make the herb itself that is the main component of that herb for whatever reason drain damp. So if you have edema, you want to get rid of the edema. If you have pain, you want to have that. So you got to look at different ways on how to approach that with the herbs, but there's different ways to put the herbs together. And people don't realize these kinds of things. It's very different than what we imagine. But
well, the funny thing is that I watched it work. That was interesting to me. The idea of I don't think I'm anything. Will you tell her, please turn that music down? This is Jade's grandma. I'm going to go yell at your granddaughter, by the way. Or you just do it. Turn it off. I can hear it through the headphones. When we went up there, so the reason this all happened and come about and was so interesting is we rushed up there to help my wife in an emergency little scenario of just dire, we're just over it. We'll see if this helps. And it helped. It was bizarre to me. It's not bizarre. It's very explainable, I'm certain, but bizarre meaning, I'm not real good with words sometimes. I don't mean, I just misunderstood. Like, and I'm skeptical of not skeptical. I question everything that I'm told. It's not like, yeah, we need little of this. I'm just a good go trier, because you can't just sell me something. You can't just tell me this will work. I'll tell you it won't work, or not won't, but it didn't. You give me this drink, say this should do this, and I'll tell you if it did or did not. And I'm not afraid to just say that, man, this doesn't work. This is whatever. You know what I mean? And maybe everybody's that way. I don't know, but I don't know. I think placebo is very powerful, and I also believe in placebo, but I'll just straight up say it if it didn't work. And I think, and that puzzles some people, like, that should have worked. And I'm like, well, it didn't. So in saying that, I'm hard to push into a little hole of this is going to work type thing. But I watched it work when we went up there, and it was amazing to me how powerful it was, just doing the herb thing with the blood pressure thing. That was really
the pulse change.
That was
you felt it.
Yeah, that was bizarre. That's the bizarre where I'm like, there's no way. This is so wild. So I want it. You're like, you got to see if you feel this. I want you to check this out. And I'm so glad you did that, because can we talk about that, or is that something?
Oh, absolutely.
So
There's so much we can do.
My beautiful wife was laying there on the table, and you did all your work with her. I don't know what you can and can't say. So if there is anything.
You can say
I don't want to
anything
push you
because
into a
it's
hole.
her treatment.
But I know they're the world's the pharmaceutical world's so against you guys, and I don't want you to ever get in trouble for something stupid. But we're trying to figure out what's gonna help her, and at the end of all of the stuff you did with her was awesome in its own. We're trying to figure out what herbs work for her body, and you should have seen this shit. It was bizarre. I don't know if I told you, maybe I did, but she's got a couple. I don't know if you had several in mind and you just have an idea for where we needed to go, and you had several combinations of things. And you're like, some of these are gonna work, so let's try this. And you set them on her little belly, and you're holding her pulse, and you're like, grab her pulse. I want you to see if you feel this. Do you know how to check pulse? And yes, I do. I used to be into some of that stuff. And sure as shit, what do you feel? And we talk, and we're feeling the exact same thing. Okay, now let's change this bottle. And you picked up a different bottle of herbs, laid them on her stomach in a different not a different same arrangement, but different kinds or whatever it was in bottles, and it completely changed her pulse. Fucking unbelievable. I could not believe it. It gives me goosebumps. I was like, what just happened? She's not in it. She doesn't know. Like, she couldn't. I don't think you could fake that. You know what I mean? You couldn't be like, okay, think of something scary when they get the next one. Or, you know what I mean? Because I'm that guy. I'm that guy that would. Not skeptical. I'm just. I'm so informationally driven where I would be like, how could she fucking fake this? I have to explain things. It was unexplainable. It worked. It was just real. Her body was reacting and could tell the difference. Explain in however you want to talk about that. I just thought that was really, really, really powerful.
Well,
it was really bizarre.
Let's go back to, she came in, she's got a severe shingles problem.
Yes.
And she's in a lot of pain. And she comes in, and it's not going to be one treatment. And that's one thing that's hard on my end, is when we treat, remember I said that amplifies the nervous system. So your nervous system, your body's not going to change overnight. It takes time. And when you're in that kind of pain, we want it now. And it's really hard.
Hence pharmaceutical power.
Right, exactly.
Quick.
But back to the herbs, how that works. Okay, so when you on the power lines, I think people get this. There is power that comes off of those lines. When you're not touching the line, you can get zapped, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can die because there's that much power. Okay, but explain that. How is that power outside of the line? Explain that.
Yeah, everything's a theory, yeah.
So it's outside of the line. Why is it outside of the line, and why can it kill you outside of the line?
In power line work, it's the theory, once again, is it's very in depth, but basically it's magnetism.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's where you're going. So that's what our theory is also, is that it's speed of magnetic lines of flux being cut.
Right.
Of current flow. So, and the more that is, the bigger the magnetic field becomes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So my engineering background made this medicine flow so easily to me.
I bet.
Because it's like, okay, we got an energy field in the body. When you have an engine running and you have different components in that engine, it's going to sound different. When you tune it up, it's going to be different. So the body's the same way. We've got different parts that run different things. And when we put something different in our energy field, it's going to change what's going on in our energy. And that's exactly what happened with those herbs. So remember...
It was just so crazy.
So every single...
From an outside person to feel that, I was like, wow.
Every single thing has an energy field. A rock has an energy field, right? Okay. It's going to be little, but it's got an energy field. When you put two things together, it changes that energy field. When you put groups of herbs together, they're different. Again, that's an energy field. You put that on somebody else's energy field, it's going to change their energy field.
Which is great and fun to talk about. But when you see it and feel it work, from my kind of a personality, it was very powerful. It changed everything instantly. I was like, this is weird. I don't know. It was a guarantee. You could feel it happening. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Doing things. I thought that was incredible. I really did. I thought that was powerful, man.
I've had Mike help me in my treatments at times when I need to feel a subtle change, because some of the treatments that we do, I've been trained in Japanese type, and the pulse reading is very subtle. Sometimes it's drastic, but it happens as I work on one point at a time. So Mike could step in, but I doubt he will.
He can yell from there.
But he'll tell me when he feels like that is a healthy pulse, and then I can move to the next point. Because that's what we're trying to do, is get the body to heal itself.
With acupuncturing, it changes it as well. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or magnets or touch therapy. It's all kinds of stuff.
Strange.
So
when you did that herb thing, that was really interesting.
I know. They're cool.
It was very powerful to me.
So back to the whole flex, the whole flow, it makes more sense than Western medicine, because we're working with the body individually. Now, I know she was diagnosed with shingles by Western medicine. I know that diagnosis, and I know certain protocols that we do for that, but maybe she's a little different than you would be if you had shingles. So I want to treat you. Remember I said you were fire?
Mm-hmm.
So you are different. You know, energetically you're different than her, right?
Oh.
So if
yes.
I would be very different in how I treat, but there would be similarities. Like I said, the one point that would be the number one point I would always use in everybody all the time is that one by the knee, because who doesn't want their metabolism increased? Who doesn't want to have a better immune system? Who doesn't want to have more energy? Hello.
Western medicine blankets issue. You can feel it. So you target things. You're very much targeting that very individual. It seems to me way more than a blanketed Loratab will fix this, all is
Right.
whatever, and it fixes it. And it's just this blanketed thing where it seems to be a lot less care in it. Real life care. I mean, we want to help you. We're just. It seems, well, obviously we all understand why that's all happening in pharmaceutical. It's way more money and power driven than anything, but a blanketed thing nonetheless. The medication's blanketed to fix things, and this seems so, you target it so accurately.
Well, and we're human. I mean, we
Sure.
can still make mistakes. We can be tired.
But the idea is to do it, is
Right.
what I'm saying. You very much try to go right to it, who they are, what they need. You very, and the treatment changes with it is all I mean. It's
Right,
It's interesting
right.
to see that when it's quite the opposite it feels when you go to the doctor.
Right.
With it's just simply you're just going to get a medication,
Right.
and
Or a surgery.
it blanket fixes things.
Yeah. Or a surgery. That's the go-to. And so you don't get to undo surgery. We don't.
Ugh.
It's like that is a go-to, and that's okay if it's necessary. It saves lives. Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm not going to say
for
that
sure.
it doesn't, but I always, if we can, let's go the most natural, safest way first. Then we go to the next step. And that's not working, then we go to the next step. But I've seen miracles. Should I talk about the dog?
Talk about the dog, and even at that, I won't forget the dog. We were so aggressive with this. I think we're slaughtering this thing with both our doctor that we trust very, very much, very good doctor, just a really great guy, Ryan Stewart. He's incredible. We really like that guy, and your help as well to attack this thing vigorously, and it is. She's killing it. It's working.
Yeah.
I think the help with both. Why not do both if that's what somebody needs? Or
Right, but it's been 2 weeks, and we want this right now.
Yes.
Because when you're in that much pain, you want it to stop. I know that. I understand that. I've been in pain before, and I get that.
yeah,
But right.
yours helped way more with the pain, way more.
Which is interesting. But it was temporary.
After the treatments, the acupuncture is incredibly powerful.
It is.
Seemed to really, really, really help her a lot. When you're done with her, she feels incredible. After the medicine, she feels like shit. The pharmaceutical medicine, absolute shit. It makes her sick.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So it's blank. Yeah, figure that out. See what I mean by a blanket issue? It's this medicine, antiviral. It's doing so many things, and it was just interesting to see how the difference. I wasn't trying to take away from the dog thing, but
No.
the mixture of the two, I think, was very critical.
Yes, and that they do that a lot in China, in the hospitals. There's a couple that will just be really strict Chinese medicine, but most of them will be a combination of that.
If you're scared and you want help now, I think that was a good move. The way we went about it all, it seemed to just be right. I don't know.
And that's the thing with viruses that I'm finding over my years of working is viruses and like bacterial infections, that kind of stuff. We want to get on it immediately. People will wait like a week or 2 weeks, and it's taken hold in the system. If we can get after it early, we will have a really good success as far as long-term care. It goes through and it keeps it from really getting deep into the system and really setting up house.
Well, and you can help people. You guys are a maintenance thing, I think. It feels to me visiting you would just be a maintenance for your life all the time to keep well balanced. You know what I mean? You go to the
Right.
doctor when I'm sick. I need help. You guys seem to be the study of that medicine seems to me could long-term slow usage and keeping up and just doing it you're just okay. You're going to feel great all the time. And you know what I mean? It seems to be more of a just keep you going very as efficiently as you can. And that's what I thought is
Yeah.
doing all those things often would keep you just healthy anyway. And
Well, even if you just did it, I like to use the example with my patients. When I was in medical school, I had some regular treatments for about a year. they didn't help a lot. They helped, but my pain would come back. And when I started getting 2 treatments a week, they were little treatments. They weren't big, elaborate, but they were just little treatments. One was an ear treatment. One was a little Japanese treatment. And I did that twice a week. And within 2 months, I was completely pain-free. And I had chronic pain. And I was going to school with doctors from Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, UCLA, Princeton. And some of these doctors left their practices, oncologists, cardiologists, anesthesiologists, to learn our medicine. And then we were taught by the same level of doctors. So it was a very intensive, accredited program. That doesn't mean I could, you can still have shitty doctors, whether they go to a good school or a 2-year program. Sure. I don't know. But the point being is the stress that I was under was immense. And after I started getting the 2 treatments a week, it changed. I moved to the top of my class. I got better libido. I slept better. My body quit hurting. And we couldn't afford it when I was in medical school. I could not afford to do that. But my husband's like, oh, hell no, you're going because you are a total bitch when you're not going.
There's nothing wrong with that. Because there was one word in there that's really important. Libido. That is very important. You're going.
Oh, yeah, it is. And Chinese medicine is cool. There's so many
powerful
levels. And again, 5,000 years, and for many of those thousands of years, that's all they had. Of course, they did surgery. I'm not stupid, but that's what they had. Now, you think they're not going to treat a lot of conditions with that? You think they didn't have shingles or the flu, or of course they did. Of course they had epidemics. Of course they had all kinds of problems. It was different, definitely different. So we have to adjust based on this time. But of course they had all kinds of conditions.
Do your dog think you got something?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna bring it back to the dog because I don't think we hit the dog.
Yeah, I did. What was your dog? Tell us.
Okay.
I have the idea of that, and I'm really interested.
Now, what was that? I said there's 4 dogs, right? Yeah, there's four dogs that I've treated that have been paralyzed from the waist down. And they've all walked after treatment. They were told by the veterinarians that they could not do anything for them. This last dog that I got 2 months ago, he's a little wiener dog, just adorable. God, he's so cute. I love animals. They're amazing. So just to be clear, I can't treat dogs unless I'm working with a veterinarian because of the way the laws are. I don't want to create any problems for acupuncturists. And I'm working with a vet directly, so they will send a dog to me when there is, they release it over to me, and I work under them so that I can treat the dog. This dog had incontinence. His tail was down. He was in pain. There was like dullness in his eyes. He barely moved. It just broke my heart. He come in there. It just broke my heart to see him. And I'm looking at him going, you want me to fix that? I'm going, butt pucker time. So I get him up there and I treat him.
Yeah,
and
it would be so scary to.
It is, because when people trust you with their family, just like Erica, when people trust you with their family and their babies,
yes,
you've got to give every part of your being to that thing, that child, that animal, because that's their life. Yeah, and I understand that. Sorry.
No,
anyway,
don't be.
So, I gave him everything I could. They bring him back. They're really religious because they understand that this is serious. They're told to put him down basically, or, $6,000 surgery, right? That's got a 50-50 chance, maybe, with lots of complications in the long run, right? So I give it my heart and soul. He comes back and he's just lighter and happier the next time. And then he starts getting just a little bit better, and he's holding his urine a little bit better instead of peeing all over me when I'm working on him. he gets more friendly and gets more friendly. And I'm sorry, I'm going to cry about this because it's just amazing to watch these animals. They don't get in their way. They don't have belief systems. They don't get in their way, and they just heal. He comes in now and he wags his tail and he's just so excited. It's like he jumps around like, look at me, I can move. Jesus. And he's out of pain. And they sent me a video. I haven't got it over to you guys yet. He's walking now. They have a video of him walking for 5 minutes outside. And this has only been 2 months.
That is,
and I mean,
incredible.
It is to me too. It's like such a gift to have an animal. They don't know what the hell I'm doing. They don't give a crap.
Once again, there you go. Placebo, all you would wish.
They don't know.
You're just doing stuff and it's working.
Yes. And and the dog has so much energy. The little shit went down the stairs by himself, and they got up in the morning and they're like, where's the dog? And they were going, he's downstairs. You thought, oh crap, but he's fine. He's fine. He's just,
wow.
That's the kind of stuff. When I see that kind of stuff, I'm absolutely mind boggled. Mike and I both, we have seen some patients that the doctors say, we don't know what's wrong with you. I had the same thing happen to me. We don't know what's wrong with you. I'm sorry. We're just going to give you some painkillers, go home. They'll come to me and they'll start feeling better. I've had people that the doctor said, we're probably going to end up amputating your feet. And within a couple of months, the color's back in their feet. They have feeling back in their feet. I'm sorry, but how do you take such a miracle and turn your back on it?
Right.
The way people don't understand. And it's so frustrating when we stand up constantly and doctors will say, oh, in fact, the wiki, whatever it is, like the definitions, they have come out now and said that acupuncture is a sham or it's quackery. Okay, that dog got just treated by quackery. I'm sorry. It pisses me off so bad.
It's why. I understand why. It's very in-depth why. I understand their angle is to crush everything that would ever get in their pocket. I understand that. That makes full sense. That's the easy go-to, but why? Really?
Well,
why? That makes no sense if it works. It's so powerful. It is incredible to watch it. I've seen it, and I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in anything. It's energy, all these things. I don't believe. You just can't tell me things. I don't believe things that I hear. I want to see it, and I seen it, and I was like, this is incredible. Why would anybody force on that away from that?
We know why.
Just
we don't even have to.
It's truly just
everybody
disgusting.
knows why, and more people are coming our way, and I think it's kind of like
way. It's beautiful to watch. I've seen it.
But again, it's not. It's typically not an overnight fix,
absolutely.
And that's the hard part because people by the time they get to acupuncture, it feels like to me it's always the last stop. Except for, thank God for Jade, bringing me up.
We wouldn't have went. There's no way. I wouldn't even have thought of it.
Right.
That's why I'm so proud to do this episode, because the world needs to hear that. I wish the world would hear this.
Yeah.
My world's small, but my people will hear this, and they will. People love to hear stuff. It's incredible. It's very powerful, and it works.
Well, and I mean, I have had a case of shingles. In fact, it was an old guy, and he'd had it for 40 years, and he was pretty stubborn by the time I got there, and he wasn't as open to the treatments as I needed to be, and he didn't get the effects. So I can't say it's like it's not magic.
No.
Again, it's just like I said, how is the energy outside of that wire? That's not magic, right?
Yeah.
So there's no magic in the body. It's
and
energy.
There's no magic to a human that is so.
But there is. But
Yeah, I think that's this person or the hate in the heart of, or then the doubt and the ignorance possibly of it and the negativity toward any of it obviously will probably keep you from doing anything you don't want to do, whether it's heal or otherwise.
Right.
So when I say I don't believe in it, I'm so open to the idea, but it sounds like a certain person that's just against everything. Well, they're just against everything anyway, right? And nothing's going to work for them.
Well, and maybe
except for what they want. It's like they.
Remember I said I went to a year of treatments, and I went to some of the best doctors in the world. I went to a doctor that worked in China. I got to tell you a good story.
Do it. Please.
I'll tell you the story after him. But I went to him, and I went to another doctor that had studied at Princeton, and then she taught at the school. So pretty dang good doctors, right?
Yeah.
And I just was not getting the relief that I expected. And I was pretty panicked. Our medical school is not cheap. It is not. And it's a 5-year master's program when you look at the hours that we carry. So you have to have an undergrad, and then you go to a master's. And I didn't know that until I looked into it. Any rate, so if you'd been going every couple of weeks or every month for a year and you didn't get that much results, you might give up on it.
Yeah.
So it took me getting those 2 treatments a week, those little treatments, and just giving it up and saying, okay, I'll do what they say, we'll try it. And then it was magic. So before that, when I had acupuncture, it worked like 1 treatment, and then I was better, and I was fine for years. So it's tough because when you're like, if you grow up in Asia, this is what you know. Okay, the first time I saw acupuncture, this is a crazy story. I'm sitting in the 80s watching PBS. My babies are little. And they did open heart surgery on a woman on PBS. They cut her open and broke her ribs and were talking to her while they were doing open heart surgery in China. And the only anesthesia she had was acupuncture. I was crapping my pants. I was on the edge of my seat going, I had to get up and walk around. I tell my patients this story because it's like, it blows me away. One of my patients saw the same documentary. He said when they broke her ribs, he had to leave. He almost threw up because it was crazy.
That's so crazy.
So then we're in the first class and we're talking. And remember, I told you about the one doctor. He's amazing. Any rate, he is there with us. And I tell the story. And then somebody else pops up. Pharmacist that decided to go to Chinese medicine school. She pops up and she says, "Oh, I saw that same documentary." And I said, "Oh, cool. So people won't think I'm crazy."
Yeah.
And then at the end of class, he steps up and says he was working in that hospital when they did that documentary. He wasn't in the surgery, but he worked there. Crazy.
That I don't know.
Nuts.
That's incredible. Isn't there new accounts of this with? I've understood it. I've just overheard like they've done like childbirths and different things and.
Oh yeah. But not everybody will respond. I asked him because I had heard from another doctor that they don't do that the same that they used to, because they did have some people that did go into shock. Yeah. So because not everybody's going to respond the same. You have to be a really good acupuncturist and really be on your job, and people have to be able to respond to that. So they do minimal anesthesia, like local or maybe just a real light anesthesia, and then they'll use acupuncture as well. That's
crazy.
I know.
Was it a test this back then? Were they just seeing if it worked, or were they just proving a point?
They were proving a point, I believe.
Wow.
Because acupuncture was just starting to get started in the U.S.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy.
I know. The ones that I've seen another one that just blows me away is I looked up on YouTube. I'd never done it, but when birds get acupuncture, they respond the best.
A bird?
Yes. They'll go to sleep.
Wow.
And they use it on horses a lot. I was treating...
But it's okay, so it might work. It sounds like it's very powerful.
Yeah. I had a patient that
Wow.
she had it done on her horse, and I didn't treat her horse, but the horse would freak out every time they'd come with the needles, just totally flip out. And they'd get the needles in it, it would fall over asleep every time.
I mean, I seen a video of her crashed out in your
Office, yeah.
Yeah, so it's fucking powerful.
Yeah, it is.
I've never seen anything like it. I've seen it now several times. It is incredibly impressive to see. And I'm not saying, yes, it's the fix for everything, but it is crazy powerful to watch it. It blows me away, man. You guys are very talented.
So Chinese medicine, acupuncture, one of the things that we talk about that, there's so many aspects to it, but it's like removing blocks. So you're saying some people are like they're closed, okay? Mm-hmm. And this is one thing I noticed. I think this is why the 2 treatments a week worked for me, because I was under so much pressure. But they look at it like unblocking a river of energy. So if you have a river and it's dammed up, the water behind it becomes stagnant, and the things around it become mildewy, moldy, and then the things below it, they don't get any water and any nourishment, and it dries up. So it's the same kind of a thing. It really is in Chinese medicine. So if you have pain in your foot, like we were talking about, if you unblock that channel, then energy can flow and you can start getting nourishment to the area. So I kind of like that analogy.
And it helps the river everywhere flow.
Exactly.
You unblock anything in the river, it's going to flow more fluently and smooth.
Right. And then you can get nutrients to all the different areas.
It's going to stay flowing.
Yeah.
It would be like line loss. It's the same idea. That's
right.
Very interesting.
Isn't that cool, though?
Oh,
I knew you would get
it. It's the same idea.
I knew you would get it.
That's cool.
Had you ever thought of it that way?
No. I've never thought of any of this. None of this ever even. Of course, I've heard of it, but it's never really been a thing. And Jade, our tattooer that night, she's like, listen, I think you need to go to my grandma. I really do. And even then I was like, God damn it. I'm open to anything, right? And I'm like,
well, you were watching your wife suffer.
Yeah, I was like so desperate for any relief in her at all, as any relief, and just to saturate this thing with every power we had. And it comforted her immediately. It was really interesting to see it. She'd never even done it or heard of it. But again,
I don't want to mislead people. She got pain again.
Absolutely. And still has it.
Yeah, and we're working on it, and she gets relief, and it gets a little bit better, right?
Every time. After every treatment, she feels incredible.
But it cured my nausea, which we weren't trying to. Oh, yeah, that's something you can talk about.
Yeah. See? She has chronic nausea, has had for...
Can he get detailed? Because there's some pretty serious stuff. Is it okay if we talk about the details? Okay, so complete digestive problems, right? Yeah. From all the way from the top to the bottom. Some serious ones, not little. We're talking serious morning problems, right?
For a long time.
And we started treatments, and they stopped immediately, didn't they? That's what I understood.
Next morning I woke up and had no nausea. Usually I dry heave every morning I wake up.
Oh, it's been...
And I've not had any of that, except for when I started my antivirals. Then that
came back.
Made me nauseous.
Compounded it.
My body got used to it, but I still don't have nausea.
So it's fine to say, let me clarify this. It doesn't work for everybody. That's fine. And it's real, but it has changed our life. It's, it was, and once you say it, things do come back. The nausea thing's gone. Whatever the hell happened here, it's gone. I don't know if it's herbal added. Don't know. It's just weird to see it all work. It truly is powerful, man. The whole everything you guys are doing it's very easy to not sell, but sell. I mean, it's
an alternative for people to try.
Dogs are walking. Birds are, tell me it may work everybody while they want. It works.
It's got its magic. It's not magic. When you think about it on a physical level and you understand electricity, you get that now. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now I think you understand the whole component behind it.
To watch the pill thing change her,
I've seen a lot of emotional stuff.
That's dramatic.
A lot of emotional stuff. This is excellent for people with ADD.
Hello. Nobody's talking to me. I think they were talking to Dre. Pretty sure. Mr. 4 trillion miles an hour right here.
Oh, just
Yeah, she's looking around. You don't have to even say anything. Everybody that knows me, they're fully aware of this.
yeah, but it's great for mental issues. So remember we talked about blockages.
Yeah.
So what happens when we can't think or we can't focus? We're blocked in our brain too.
Sure.
This is amazing for the brain. I have so many colleagues, and I've seen so much with depression, I've treated people with psychosis. I mean, it's crazy amazing for any kind of neurological stuff. It's amazing.
Why would anybody ever doubt to try it or not want to, do you think? I know the answers are as varied as humans, but what's the blanketed idea of this is horseshit? Why would people think this?
Well,
Have
okay,
you
when I
understood?
was treating Erica and there were people in the room with us, they were all like, I can do tattoos all day long. But they saw those needles and went, oh, hell no. So I think it's just an innate thing that we aren't supposed to be poked. You know what I mean? And the tattoo gun, in fact, tattooing, you're going to be helping people in a similar way. Not that you're doing medicine, but you are kind of, because people get stimulated and it helps them. That's why people keep coming back, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. They're it's a weird connection, and then it's incredibly evasive toward in a long period of time where it's the pain overcomes and they want the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But very short ones, it's pretty powerful. And we've talked about weird things like imagine putting tattoos in certain areas for certain reasons.
Right.
That's powerful right there.
Right. Okay, so there's 12 meridians, and then there's 8 extras. So those meridians, if you did tattoos along those meridians,
Pieces of the body, quadrant type stuff.
yeah. Well, you'd have to look at the
Areas.
meridians. You'd have
Okay.
to learn that stuff.
Different places.
Yeah.
Basically.
So maybe, but it would be temporary. But you could do a tattoo in that area, and that might make their nausea go away.
Pretty dramatic. If to know that would be really interesting. That'd be cool to attempt all of that and see.
So part of her treatment was a plum blossom, which is like a tattoo gun, kind of. Huh?
Electricity. Yeah.
No, the little needles, the 7-star
Oh
needle.
yeah, the little hammer.
The little, yeah,
looking
the
thing.
little hammer.
Yeah, that was
Kind of interesting, isn't it, when you
yeah,
think about it?
very similar.
Yes. So, and that can be done along a meridian. Why can't you tattoo? Now, it would be temporary, right?
Sure.
Because then it's going to heal and then it's gone, right? So,
It's pretty crazy.
yeah.
Same idea. Have you helped people stop smoking and like addiction type things? Have you used that into that area?
There are a lot of doctors that do, and yes, I can. We don't push it that much because one of the problems with it is people, again, they need to be engaged in their health.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, it's great for addiction, but if you're going to go do your thing and then come in and I'm going to treat you, and you're not going to be engaged in the recovery, you just think, I'm going to fix you, don't count on it happening.
But I think that's the power of humans, period.
Right.
That's why things work, is if they truly want to fix something, they're engaged in it. They're going to do everything it takes to fix something, and it will work. This being part of that move is so powerful to me.
I have had a couple of people that have come in to me and again, you're always going to get benefits out of it, whether you get, but they weren't as engaged. They just wanted the treatment, and then
but the dog or the bird hadn't,
again.
So explain that. See what I mean? They have
they don't.
They just want to survive, but it's just going to work. They're not going into their brain saying what they're doing is going to A, B, or C. They have no emotional tie to it. See, so that's what's interesting.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Watch how we can defeat it in a certain way, but they can't.
But it does help
Tricky.
with addiction. It does. It's just a matter of we still need to be a part of that.
Sure.
And like you said, if they have an addiction and they want to get over it, most likely they're going to do things to help along the way. They're going to, make the effort, most likely.
Yeah.
But,
like the person doing the open surgery, they're all into it and they're going to make it happen. So it just happens.
Yeah.
It's interesting, I think. So that's why not even figure out how to do that and explain to people, like, get them, help them get to that point. That's exciting to me, where it's like, listen, this will work for you. I promise you it will work for you, and engage in it and really listen and really go there. I think it's powerful. I think that would all work. It would work. It's just cool if we could. It works. I've watched it work it's crazy to see it.
Right.
So
right.
Regardless of believing in it and feeling it or not, it truly does work. We're feeling the repercussions of it here.
Well, and one thing like in Asia that pops in my head, it's like when you grow up and you go to an herbalist, it's way cool. You go into an herb shop and they've got herbs everywhere, and they'll put an herb plate together in no time flat. And they do this every day. They go get their herbs, they go home, they get a week's worth, they go home, they make their tea, they drink their herbs every day. If they're sick, that's what they do. They don't question it. It's just like you go home and take your pill. You go take your herbs. You don't question it. You go back to the doctor. They either give you herbs or they give you acupuncture. In China, what I was told by the masters that worked in the hospitals there, they'll line them up in the hallways. They'll throw needles in them. It's crazy time there.
This is happening.
It's socialized medicine and it's very cold. So it's different. I need to tell you a little bit about the history of China. So traditional Chinese medicine actually is formed during the Communist Revolution. It is the ancient Chinese medicine, but it was all compiled during the Communist Revolution because they didn't have Western medicine. They wanted to bring it in and open up hospitals so that everybody was trained the same. So they got the same standard textbooks, they got the same standard herbs, and if you weren't a doctor that went along with what they said, you were not there anymore. You were gone. And your books were gone. So you had to follow that communist regime. Now, there's some good to that. I mean, there's some really cold to that, but there's some good to that because as a result, they opened up all these hospitals. They had a lot of Chinese medicine. They treated a lot of people fast through their socialized medicine program. But as a result, there's a lot of research showing how this works. Now, Western medicine will not accept it. They will not accept the research. They say it's not double-blind studies. It's not blah, blah, blah. So they won't accept that research and they won't back it up.
Double-blind, like heavily tested? Is this
right.
The idea of what they say?
Yeah, where they're doing like...
But it's worked for 5,000 fucking years
Exactly. Like how many billions of
missing?
people?
I don't
how many
understand.
Billions of people? Billions. We're not talking millions.
So
how many billions of people are in China
how do we argue
over
that?
Thousands of years? I don't know.
I see no argument.
Well, but people, like our insurance up in Wyoming, down here in Utah, it's different. But in Wyoming, most of the insurances will not pay for acupuncture. Now, if you can go to your doctor and get a pill, and you get it you don't have to pay for it, or you have to pay $65, whatever, to come and see me. $75, $100, whatever that is, you know, depending on what the treatment is.
Yeah.
We have anywhere from $20 on up.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard when you're on a limited income.
But, yeah. True.
So we got to take that into aspect too.
Is your treatment typically covered underneath like insurance, like a Blue Shield or something?
No.
So typically you're coming out of pocket for the
Right.
treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
That could be another reason why people don't follow up, is that it might not be feasible for them.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think that is ridiculous.
But, you know, like you
When it's
guys,
been-
her treatments aren't super cheap because
No.
we hit it with a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
But people, if they're doing it more for wellness, they could do the $20 treatments. They could come in once a week for a $20 treatment. And they could get away with that. And it might be enough. I would say $20 to $45. They could get away with something like that if they're doing it more for wellness, and then do a little bit more expensive treatments.
That's what I'm saying. It's when it's a maintenance thing and you're trying to just maintain, it would be a cheap route to just kind of maintain health.
Right.
It would
Because
seem.
what is it going to do? That's going
There's
to
guaran-
unblock your channels.
Yes.
So then they're going to flow better. So then you're going to get more nourishment to all the areas of your body. Your brain's going to function better. You're going to sleep better. So you're going to get more rest. Your brain's going to get healed through sleeping. Your digestion obviously is going to work better. So during the time I was in medical school,
With
I had
herbs is
we had oncology
insane.
clinic as well. I had worked in the hospital too on traumatic brain injuries, all kinds of different stuff. But when we worked on the oncology, I was so amazed how well acupuncture did for the nausea that people have from the chemo treatments, the problems, because the stomach is one of the easiest things to treat in Chinese medicine. So I don't know exactly why, but it's one of the fastest growing
It's very receptive,
tissues.
maybe, to
It's fastest growing tissue. That's why they target, when they target cancer, they target the fastest growing tissue. And so that's why the stomach gets, and they get mouth sores and stuff, because the medicine will attack the stomach as well. And the Chinese medicine just steps up to the plate, helps the brain fog, helps with neuropathy. I've seen amazing results with that, with the side effects of chemo.
it's incredible why insurance won't pay. That's fine. We ought to build.
Well, you can.
we ought to build a. People can do insurance for anything.
Right.
People have gotten together with, I don't remember the
Yes.
name of the insurance, and groups. These massive pools of people, whatever it's called.
Yes.
The neighbor was talking about it the other day. How hard would it be to create something like this for this? And I think it would just be incredible.
Yeah.
It would
Well,
be such a different idea.
there's just so many. There's so few acupuncturists.
There would be a lot more because there would be a demand, right? At
Yeah.
that point, if something like this were to happen, it would be.
Yeah. And you can
You would
bug your
wanna-
insurance companies. You guys can bug your insurance companies. That's the key. You bug your insurance companies. And if they see a demand and people are bitching and they're saying, well,
There
I'm
we
going to
go.
go to a different insurance company that's going to cover it, then you can probably do it. One of the issues that we run into with taking insurance is they start regulating us more and more.
See, there's another goofy angle.
So a lot of doctors will not take insurance because they don't want to be bothered. They'll audit them. They'll,
It's so tricky. Why you would be, it's sad to me to see the negativity toward it in any way. All I know is I've watched it work for
Yeah.
us in the most crazy way. So it's just speaking from experience. It's just weird to see it really, really, truly help things in a dramatic way. And I guess if insurance won't help me, there's just no price to health. We'll just do it. You know what I mean? So
right. Well, and
what's
in the long
what's the
run,
quality of our life is
in the long run, it ends up usually costing less. It might cost more in the beginning, but once people go down the road and they start, for instance, back. I get a lot of back issues, and they want to fuse their back. Well, once they start going down that road, then it's medications, time off work.
Look at your surgeries
and then you end up having another surgery because the weakened
the 18th
spine
one didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so we're moving on to the next thing. And this is what happened with my sister. And this is part of the reason that I got into it was my sister was part of the Western medicine. She got addicted to painkillers. She had 5 surgeries in 1 year, and she got a serious infection they could not heal. And so they did a surgery on her. She went home that night, and they said she died of an overdose, but all of her pills were still in her bottle, and she didn't have any pills in her stomach. Now, explain to me how she died from an overdose. Was it the doctor that gave her the overdose? What? And why did they have to go down the road of giving her 5 surgeries in 1 year? Why? I don't.
It's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, I don't understand. And maybe she would have never chose this. I have no idea if she would have chose to go down this road. People still make their choices.
But I'll tell you what, when you're in a dramatic scenario like we were, people will do dramatic things, and this is incredible things that come from it.
Right.
So just speaking from our own experience, again, I'm just pushing it to the rooftop. It's incredible.
Well, and another thing that I saw in medical school, there's a few stories that are kind of cool. There was a doctor that his son was born, and he was from China, and his son was born with Down syndrome. And Chinese medicine even works on that stuff. If they're infants, they can, it's not like they're going to undo the DNA, right? But his son worked in his office. He didn't have a relationship, but you couldn't tell he had Down syndrome. He worked in his office. You couldn't tell he had Down syndrome. You think that doctor didn't throw everything he had at that baby when he was a little boy.
Right.
And you could not tell he had Down syndrome. He worked in his office.
And you could before.
No, I don't know, because he treated him when he was a baby.
From the start, okay.
Yeah, so you would never know, but you could not tell he had Down syndrome.
That's crazy.
So that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Just things like that. I mean, I've seen my back. I was injured in 8 places. I fell on a snowcat on the tines, and you know what that is.
Oh, boy.
And I fell and hit my head, and acupuncture, what we do in Utah is acupuncture injection therapy. I went to one of my colleagues, and she did acupuncture injection therapy on me, and I am walking around like normal. No surgeries. Now, granted, I'm not going to have 1 injection. Hell no, that's not going to happen. But we rebuilt my back. We've got it functioning. Hello, I'm 61.
I don't know how to say,
And this happened last year.
These things are happening.
I was so bad I was throwing up and crapping my pants. I could not walk for a week. And 1 treatment got me back up on my feet. 2 treatments, I was about 80% better. The 3rd treatment, about 90% better. And then I still have done a little bit of maintenance. But I'm moving around. Okay, tell me that didn't work.
That's, again,
it's
hard to disagree with any of it.
I know.
It's beautiful.
I know. So, okay.
Dude, it's crazy. You ought to see it happening. It's happening.
Oh, my mom. Here's a new one.
What do you got? What was you saying?
Well, I was gonna say, growing up in Portland, there was as a kid, I didn't know that it was like a doctor's office, but it was Seafood Lee's shop, and on the bottom he had herbal, like teas and stuff like that, medicine. At the time, I didn't know it was medicine. I just thought it was like a coffee shop, but it was a herbal teas and things like that, treatments. And in the back, he had he was a Tai Chi teacher as well. And when you're saying this, it reminds me of Seafood Lee. And so, like, I'm wondering, like, do you practice martial arts at all?
I practiced. Mike and I, the whole time I was in school, did Tai Chi a lot.
That makes sense. See, that's
yeah.
That's exactly what Seafood Lee did in the back of his shop.
Right. I've done it a little bit since I've been done, with school. I did a lot of Qigong while I was in school. We had a lot of Qigong classes, so I did a lot of training in that as well. we have been trained in more energy style work. There's a lot of medical Qigong. And it is, again, very powerful. I know you say you don't believe in woo-woo stuff, but again, okay, so you saw the difference with the herbs.
And definitely I don't, it's not that I don't believe.
Right.
I'm so
Okay.
sad, but I'm very,
Skeptical.
I just want to feel it working.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
So-
not just like, oh my God, this is going to work. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to feel it and be like, holy fuck, this working.
So if you're doing Tai Chi, they figured it out over the thousands of years, and the Qigong over thousands of years, that you do certain moves and that you can repair yourself. Again, this is one of the things that I've been really focusing on in my practice lately, is more about energy work with especially all of the lockdowns where people cannot get the help they need. I'm really pushing that with my patients about self-care,
Yeah.
how critically important it is for self-care. So I think I'm going to really hit this hard right now.
Do it.
What? Oh yes. I do treat officers once a month with a little teeny treatment. It's just an ear treatment for free. So if an officer wants to come in, they're welcome as a service because the amount of stress they're under,
So it's a stress to help with.
the stress for their job.
Why would somebody not just so die to try that? You know what I mean?
I don't know. They don't come in. They're busy. I don't know.
Go
They get
in.
Cocky, arrogant. I don't
in.
know.
Go in. I'm telling you.
I
It's
know.
incredible.
I know.
I think
So-
I think Junior can guilt some guys to go.
Every one of you know your names. I'm going to start saying their names if they're not careful. They all know who they are.
Yeah.
Josh. Sean.
You were
I could just keep going.
Alfonso.
Jennifer.
What did you want to say? We could set it up in the tattoo studio. So people just need to call if they want to in the area, because I'm licensed here. I can do that. Introduce them to acupuncture,
And we'll
They
have
can
your
try it
information
out.
all over this.
and then they can. What was that?
Your cards are in the studio as well.
Yeah, and if they want to, they're welcome. I would love to do that as a service. We'd have to set up a time because I'd have to commute down here.
Yeah.
And do it, but-
everything's set. We set it all up and all that.
Yeah.
But people don't even hesitate. Even go up to Wyoming and go do your, like, even everybody just go try this stuff. It's incredible.
Just make sure you get a good licensed acupuncturist. There's a lot of people doing acupuncture that have not been adequately trained. This is really in-depth theory. Getting back to the Qigong and the Tai Chi, you think Sifu, whatever it was,
Sifu Lee.
Sifu Lee, that he didn't have a massive amount of training? Of course he did.
I bet he was incredible.
Yeah, he probably
He's
was.
probably still alive and
Yeah.
just killing it up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, man. It was always like one of those like you see in the movies, right? Like you see him practicing
Underground, like, cool shit.
Yeah, he's always dressed really like in the traditional garb and stuff like that. It was a cool experience. And in Portland, we have there's so many different like ethnic groups, right? We have our Chinatown in Portland is like a real Chinatown. It's not
Right.
like just like a strip mall that's here in Salt Lake, right?
Right.
It's like I got my first Xbox 360 for like $36.
From China.
Yeah, from China. But it was
Black
that
market.
Yeah, exactly. It was literally
That's where they come from, the port. Portland.
It was so like it was definitely magical to just see, because I grew up on kung fu movies, right? So we
Dude.
always see like I'm a huge fan of,
He was
Jackie
playing
Chan.
it too.
You know what I mean?
He was playing it.
Yeah, so he was. Yeah, I'm sure we were walking down the street. And he's all like extra, like cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like magical to see him do that, and then you telling your story and the stories of the dog and everything like that. I'm like, and even Erica, it's like, this is real, guys,
Dude,
and you should look into it if you are someone that is seeking that type of treatment.
Right. Well, another, like my mom, she's got Alzheimer's, and I was treating her, and she was just bitching one day about, I don't even know what. She was just carrying on about something that made no sense. Just carrying on, blah, blah, blah. Just bitch. I put a needle in between her eyebrows. It's yin tongue. It's
Oh, I've
a
seen that
calming
one go
point.
in.
And literally, she shut up mid-sentence. She didn't say another word the whole treatment. I'm like,
Not because you were going to
this
stab
is-
her fucking
no,
eyeball.
she totally. It's.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
call that the "shut up your mother" point.
It's like, not only is this going to fucking hurt, and hold still and be quiet because
No,
it's
we
going
need
on.
one for you.
I know. No, yeah.
You know what you need to learn? You need to learn how to do a blow dart. So you might be right, of course.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get one of them for me because my ass is on the move. You tranquilize me, drop me like one of them bowl, like you tranquilize my ass. I go down. Okay, now you can talk to the guy.
Oh, and there's different
That's
ways.
crazy, man.
I know, totally. Mid sentence, just shut up.
She's
She
like,
never
"That's
said
what it
another.
is."
Oh, so this is another thing that I did to my mom, and I quit treating her after this. And I'm sorry if I cry on this one. So she's getting worse gradually, and so I go there and I do my treatments because I'm only going to be there for the weekend. So I treat her every day. By the second day, I treated her 2 days in a row, and it only took the second day. She can't, and I am going to cry. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
She came out of it long enough to realize that she was losing her family. And she says, I can't lose my, she realized. So it brought back her memory.
And they have none
Right.
when they're doing that.
And I quit treating her because I couldn't put her through that again and again and again. If I was there all the time and I could treat her every time, you know what I mean?
Right.
I would do it, but I just,
How powerful is that to watch that work?
I could
work?
not
That's scary.
believe it.
It gives me goosebumps. That is scary.
I know.
I would have
could
been-
not believe it.
Do you document this? Like, do you keep like a
We have to
video
keep
log
records. Well, I don't, and I should.
Well, I mean,
God,
with
that's
I think,
incredible.
I mean, because Erica could tell her own story, right? But with patient privilege or whatever you want to call it, I think it would be cool to document it, right? Because not only will that help your business, this is my mindset, right? Monetize the mindset. So it's like,
that's good.
Like for me, I'm like, if you had somebody like Erica come in and you're like, this is day 1, how are you feeling? This is day 2, how are you feeling? This is the treatment, right? And you can see the progression of it. You can now share that to those people that have the shingles, right?
Right,
Or have herpes.
right. And I have,
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
a thing.
I wasn't sure.
yeah, that's what shingles is.
Yeah. That it's that disease. It's that exact thing.
So where there is ways, but like when those people brought that dog in, you know, they're looking at their baby and they're in tears. They're thinking, I got to put my baby down.
Yeah.
This is my last resort. They're coming into me. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me take it. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
Yeah, it's like, here,
But
selfie, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it.
But it's even after the fact, though, when it's all done, you could put together a beautiful thing.
Well,
of,
and that's what we're trying to do.
look
with,
at, I want to tell you this story and give them, a good 20-minute thing of what's happening, like what we're doing right now with her.
right.
This is what's happened to me, guys. Like, listen to this shit. This is real. This is powerful. This worked. It helped me. It's
So back to the magic of the medicine, though. Okay, so back to the self-healing. And I want to shout out to everybody on this one.
This is-
Please,
just do your thing.
please do this, people. Start taking care of yourselves. Start focusing on positive things. This is a really screwed up time in history, and there's screwed up times in Roman Empire, blah, blah, blah. But we have the power, like the Qigong, the Tai Chi, the chakra balancing, the acupuncture, to start healing ourselves. Absolutely. And I think that acupuncture is a tool to help us get to that space where we can keep ourselves healthy. Please spend time meditating. Do some Qigong. There's Tai Chi and Qigong on TV, on YouTube. Do it. Start practicing it. Take care of yourselves. Eat healthier right now. Please eat healthier right now. Don't go to the liquor store and buy a whole freaking gallon of whiskey because you can. Don't. This is the time to get your shit together.
facts.
This is it.
It's facts.
We got this time right now. I'm finding that this time it really pushed me to start taking care of myself. I'm starting to do some self-acupuncture. I'm starting to, take care of myself. We're starting to meditate. We're starting to do some breathing exercises. If you guys don't know about Wim Hof breathing, do it. Learn about Wim Hof. He's weird, but it's good.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
But you did tell the wife about humming and all of these things.
Oh, yeah.
We're not good enough for that yet, but humming. It's real. Breathing is incredible. These things.
Yes.
These things, all of this is so powerful.
Sunshine, getting fresh air, being around the people that you love. Do not be around the people that you love. Please be
we're
around
all being forced to believe that you can't.
You can.
Why can't you?
You can.
Yes, do it.
Be around the people that you love. Get some sunshine. Get some heart space opened up. One of my masters from Japan, because I got trained in Japanese, which is not common. There's not that many practitioners that got trained in Hari Japanese. That I want to sing a song.
Sing a song?
No.
Fuck yeah, sing a song.
Yeah, teach us.
No.
God, that's beautiful.
No.
Nobody's ever sang a song on this show.
No,
God, that would be cool.
Hari Japanese just kept ringing in my head.
We even have rappers on here too. They didn't even
I'm
rap.
so excited.
Let's get a song.
It would be incredible.
So Hari Japanese, it allows me to treat babies. I was trained to treat babies all the way to 100-year-old people. Now, I'm not going to be jabbing needles into a brand new infant.
But you'll do it to a dog?
Yeah, but we do Japanese style,
cool.
which is more energetic. So we're doing specific points. We're doing certain techniques on certain points. We're using magnets. We're using little itty bitty tacks, itty teeny tiny bitty tacks to stimulate points. Babies will heal like dogs. They're amazing how well they respond to this.
No emotional thing going on.
And then another one of my masters from Japan that taught me how to do moxa, which you haven't had the luxury of trying. We put little teeny bits of moxa on the skin and burn it right on the skin. And he was blind.
This guy?
The master. And he's one of the top masters in Japan.
He can't even see.
No. And he's doing this kind of stuff. The sensei, like we were talking about the pulse reading.
That's just incredible. That's weird.
So when we would do the treatments, when we learned about how to do the treatments, the master would be there on the patient doing the treatment, and they would be at a point working with that point, and there would be a student holding the pulse of the patient, and then there would be another student holding that student's hand and doing a pulse on them.
Oh, you told me.
And then doing the next student would be holding the pulse of the other student, and it was a chain. So when there was a change in the pulse in the patient, all of our pulses would change at the same time.
That is so crazy.
So you cannot tell me that this does not have an effect. So the masters from Japan would talk about, and I don't want people to take this like it's woo-woo because,
right.
But they understand now a little bit how it works. It makes sense. It's physical. We got that down. We understand there's a magnetic field around people. We understand there's a resonant frequency. We get that, right?
Yes.
We're affecting the body. We're affecting changes. Just like you get around people and your hair stands up or it doesn't. There's certain energies that you will go, what the hell is that? Get away from me.
Absolutely.
So you get that. That's real. It's the same kind of it's the same theory, right?
Right.
So then we go in there, when we're treating, we get that change in the pulse, and that's what we're going for. It doesn't take a lot, but those treatments seem to be the most relaxing. That's when I started seeing the biggest change in my body, was when I had the Japanese treatment once a week and the ear treatment once a week. I got them both. And that's when I saw the biggest change in my body. So the ear is like a little body, a little baby. And so you can treat points in the ear and it will relate to the body. I can treat points in the finger and it will relate to the body. Many times people have had really bad headaches and I'll work on the toes or a different part of the body, or I'll work on a different part of the body. The people are in wheelchairs. I can't get to their back. And I will have to treat a different part of the body to get a relief in the back. And I've seen some amazing results.
Oh, I don't even doubt it.
But it's kind of
I
crazy
have
when you
seen
start. It'd be fun to see if you have pain somewhere and try and get that.
It would. I would so do it because it's just interesting to me. And I think we hit it on the head earlier with the man that just stubborn about it. Yeah, prove it to me and make it work. I mean, I'm not that way. I'm not, I'm so open,
Right.
but I have the energy. I have the openness would be my word. I'm very open to things. But there's nothing wrong. But my brain also is very, I think even not smart, but checking thing. It's like, hey man, don't just be careful with this. I'm talking about it to myself. Like, you don't have to believe this.
Again.
So it's like,
yeah.
but I want to feel it. If it were, I'm open to, I'm receptive
Right.
to it. When I got my back, I've never had you help me. We've just been going for her hard here. I'm going to though. I had a pinched nerve in my back, and I've told you this story too. This was unbelievable. We tried everything. I was going, chiropractor's a different story, very different story to me. I'm certain there's people that do beautiful work with that. I was very pissed off about my experience with that. It made me 5 times worse. It was driven in a totally different direction. It didn't feel like my best interest. It felt more like a money thing to me. But my wife found a massage therapist, acupuncturist guy doing Chinese medicine, and I just had that in my head, like, God damn, really? But I was so desperate once again, and
Yeah, you can't function. It's bad.
oh, it was horrible.
It's bad.
And we were in
Yeah.
Texas. It was an 1.5-hour drive to get to this guy, and she made an appointment. Oh, she walked out. She made the appointment for me in Utah, and this nerve was like protruding from my back. It was just so brutal. I've never been in that kind of pain. I couldn't even move. And that guy in an hour, and I was mean kind of about it. I'm like, listen, I don't think this is horse shit, but hurry and just see what you can do with this. And in one visit, not simple massage, but to me it was a simple massage of a simple idea. It wasn't so powerful. I felt so good afterward, and he fixed it immediately. And it had been so long.
So he had magic fingers.
It was incredible. He
really went to that magic finger school.
Yeah, some shit. He did such incredible nerve work. He's like, and he's talking to me the whole time. And he's like, tell me when it goes off. It should immediately go off in this area. This, am I getting closer? And it just stopped. I could not believe it. And it was just really amazing. And I'm like, man, I feel incredible. I don't know what you've done. And it was just so weird. It's powerful. It's very powerful.
Yeah. So there's a lot out there we can do. We can have a lot of self-choices. People, in my opinion, should explore ideas, learn. Just because somebody's Chinese or not Chinese or Japanese or Korean or Latino or African American, if they get good training, it does not matter what your ethnic background is, because a lot of people will think, oh, well, I've got to go to Sifu Li. And that's not necessarily true, because the requirements that's why you want somebody that's gone to an accredited school. And through the NCCAOM. I cannot stress that enough. NCCAOM. You look that up.
Damn, that's a lot of letters.
Yes, nccAOM.org. You can look up a certified acupuncturist in your area. They'll tell you if they have a diplomate of Oriental medicine or if they're just an acupuncturist. So you'll see that they have a lot of training, but the requirements set by that were a compilation of the experts from China and the U.S., and they all came together and said, if we follow this level of standard, then they can get this kind of a certificate through the NCCAOM. California had their own standards for quite a while.
Imagine that.
But I
Sorry.
think they're taking on the NCCAOM now. So you can go either way. And the California requirements were really good too. So if you have a practitioner that was trained in California and was licensed there at one time, they're really good doctors as well. So you get a good practitioner that's looking, of course, again, you can have dumb shit. You can have people that will read you or not read you, or you get all kinds. There's community acupuncture, which is nice for maintenance. Again, there are people working there that may have not had any training, but just right there, and they're using them to do the work. I don't know much about that. I know that a lot of those people that work for them do not have very much training. Chiropractors typically are not trained in Chinese medicine, but they are certified to do it. So you might get somebody that knows what they're doing. You might not. I don't know.
You can have that with a doctor, though.
A doctor can do it as well.
All of this stuff, and
Yeah.
you just don't know with people.
You have to find out. Yeah, you have to be your own search.
Yeah, and
your
you
own
can
health advocate.
I think you can feel it when you get around people. You can feel them. Their energy. You're like, this dude he knows his shit.
Yeah.
They do it with me with tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
They can feel it.
Right. There was a doctor.
What'd you have there? You're cool.
I was just gonna ask, obviously you have a lot of knowledge in everything that you do. Do you have somebody underneath you? Do you have somebody that you're bringing up and teaching your ways?
No, that's another thing. There is doctors that can do acupuncture with absolutely no or minimal training. And since people think that they are Western doctors, that they have a lot of training, and they may not. And even physical therapists doing dry needling, there's been a lot of pushback from the acupuncture community, because some of them are doing weekend seminars. And but if they need to untie a knot in a muscle, am I totally against that? I'm not. But when they're doing the protocols like we do, that does get into our territory, and we get a little bit territorial about it. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't believe it should be. But no, you have to go through certain accreditation. For me to teach, I would have to have, I can't even begin to tell you the knowledge. And you should see the books I have. And I barely been able to get through half of those.
So you don't it's not an apprenticing thing where you would bring somebody with you, and
they have that in China. They have had that in Asia, in certain parts of Asia. I don't know if they still do that.
It's a lot of schooling.
They used to, and there are some practitioners that came up that way through apprenticeships. Now it's more standardized, and they want you to go through an accredited school with a good background that's regulated. Because I took 5 boards to get through my schooling.
And this is just an idea that it might work. See what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It seems so crazy to me. It's right on the border of...
But then again, you get on Wikipedia and they say it's quackery.
And that's it. That's so weird.
Yeah. And you get, but it's okay, because I guess the more people that think about it, were you going to say something, Mike? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's some shit he was throwing at you.
Yeah.
Do it. And we
Come
love
on. You got anything? Come on. Okay.
He's just, God, is he having a seizure?
I've got a point for that right between your balls and
slap
your...
that. Get your blowgun. Get your blowgun out. Get that fucking blowgun out.
What's your thought on marijuana?
I am not against it. The problem I have with marijuana is, it's like anything. If we do a single herb and it's a blanket healing thing, we're missing out on what it is. If marijuana can help people, hell yeah, it should. And I've seen videos I have not experienced personally of people with Parkinson's, seizures. Why wouldn't I want them to be better no matter what? And if it's non-invasive with marijuana,
It's incredibly powerful.
right?
Obviously,
Is there
way
anything
it-
wrong with that? Of course not. But again, I don't want people to. It's still mood altering, so it's a mood altering chemical. I feel like that we need to don't use things to hide the problem. Get to the bottom of the problem. And that's why I encourage the self-healing, the meditation, and if we need tools along the way, and if that's marijuana, if it's acupuncture, if it's whatever, if it's a tattoo on a meridian, I don't.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that means, let's get to the bottom of the problem and the source of the problem and not mask it.
And it seems to me the people that are wanting to help and do and make things right in any way, they just do these things. People, I believe he who searches finds, right? Whoever's trying to, that's why I want this episode so badly to be out there. Whoever's looking for something else, this is a seriously powerful tool that will aid in many, many, many things. If you're searching, like I always do, for more and more answers to everything and not just one way, this is awesome shit. It's really neat. And it's incredible to see it to work. So I think when people are looking for things and help and different, and that's so good. And this is definitely something people need to not overlook.
Right.
At all. It
Right.
is very powerful.
And if people get exposed to it in different ways, maybe even ways that I don't like, I'm not embracing myself. You know, we've talked about a few of those things. If it opens the door for them and they see, oh, that needle helped me, maybe. But then the other thing that we need to be aware of is sometimes if you're not educated and you're doing something like this, that you might end up causing an issue, or they didn't get anything, or they may not get the full idea, and then it might turn people away too.
Sure. As any shitty tattoo artist would do.
Right. So if you have a bad tattoo and
You find somebody that's powerful when they do and they care, you've got something magic. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
and we've talked about this. It comes back to, I think people that do this have a passion for it for the most part.
Right.
I believe during COVID, a lot of acupuncturists shut down, and that just kind of shows me, like, was your passion really there? I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you have a passion about something, you don't stop that easily.
Watch it, cure it.
What was that?
Watch this practice, cure it immediately fast, and then we got a real thing happening here. See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I've even been blocked, I think, on Facebook. I had some pictures of, like, cupping of people and some needle. I mean, it was like a back of a person, and they reported me for having, like, inappropriate content. I was like, what?
look at fucking Instagram anytime you want. And
So you do the cupping?
Oh, hell
Have
yeah.
you
I want to do that.
dude, have you seen Jade's back after that?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
It looks cool. Like
It
it looks
is
like it's relaxing.
Insanely
It
cool.
is. And some people like it and some people don't. But cupping
But
is
try
cool.
things. Like,
Moxa is
find what works.
amazing.
Jade is obsessed with that cupping
Everybody
thing.
just needs to go to Evanston. 'Cause
Or just
not,
come in.
Not many doctors thank you for coming to them. Like,
Did-
thanked me for coming. I was thanking you. You took your night and spent hours making me better.
It was powerful to see it, dude. It was crazy.
Well, okay, like the dog. You tell me that wouldn't be just drive you.
Oh, you
Have-
know we would do it, something
Yeah.
like that in a
Yeah,
second.
if you had your puppy or if somebody brought you a dog and you knew that with a tattoo you could make him walk, oh, hell, you'd be doing it every freaking day. And I know you would. Because I know
Absolutely.
you got that kind of heart. You'd be all over it.
Yes. Same thing.
It's like, okay, so how much do we get out of treating people when we watch that healing happen?
It's incredible.
It's the same thing for us.
And
So
it's
back to the
transfer.
master from
It
Japan.
transfers is what
So
it does.
the master from Japan, and this is the part that I absolutely freaking love. The master from Japan told us, when you go in and you give your treatment, and I know you do this with your tattoos. I know you do this. I've seen it. You walk in that room, you give them all the love you have. This is how we do treatments. This is why it's so different than Western medicine. You walk in that room and you give, this is how I was taught. You give them all the love you have.
Yeah, it's
Okay, do you do that in Western medicine?
Absolutely
Hell no.
not.
You walk in there, and so it doesn't matter what freaking needle I put in. It doesn't matter what I do. If I go in there with that intent, how is that going to change my treatment?
Dramatically.
If I give them, now the hard part is shutting the door and letting it go. Ask Erica.
But that's what's so powerful with your heart, with what you are. That's why you are what you are. 'Cause
And that's
you're
why you do what you do.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why
Exactly.
he does what he does.
Because
you
your passion
become-
is there.
You become like those you're around, and when it's real. That is a very powerful statement. You become people you are around, and when you walk into somebody that is so incredibly with you, no matter what, and gonna do everything they can, it automatically starts it.
Right.
It starts the help. It starts the
and
heal.
so this doesn't have anything to do with acupuncture, does it?
That's incredible. It's really
the
weird.
energy.
What is DeMarco? What is Alfonso? These people we talk about, we want back on our show. Sean, it's energy. You can feel like we're doing this again. There's something. It ain't about the talking. You can feel it, man. DeMarco, you can feel it. He's like, you can feel this. It's so real.
You see why I was driven
It's
to keep
so
doing
powerful.
that, because when
It's
you walk in the
beautiful.
room and you've got this master that is that has taught in schools and came from Japan and went through some of the hardest times, and they're treating 70 people a day. One of the masters, not my master, but one of my back masters, like a descendant from who taught me, he was treating 70 people a day at 80 years old.
God.
70. Now, granted, he didn't do all the work. He had a lot of help. He had helpers. He had trainees, apprentices, right? All working with him. They would do a lot of the setup. They would do all that stuff. He would come in and he would work with them and do just those few needles that would change the pulse. He would do that. Now, you tell me that, and this guy is healthy as can be. What the hell? How?
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's retired, but is that crazy?
That's powerful.
That's crazy
It's
stuff.
neat. It's really neat.
And so these are the kind of people that are teaching me, and you get around them and you cannot be not moved. How can you, if you're not moved, then you're not, go away.
Move. If you're not moved, move and go
Yeah.
find something
Yeah,
that moves you.
yeah, exactly.
That gives you the same energy back that you're putting out.
Right.
I believe in that. And that's what we collided with you guys. And the same thing. It was a really neat thing. It was very powerful. Just being there.
So
It was a
hopefully
fire. Everything
I
just,
can remember that moment, because there are times when people come in that I would like to slap them.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Why? But see the outcome of the powerful, how it works when you feel all of that.
Yeah.
It's incredible, man. We do it every day up here.
So have you
I'm
had
dr-
those moments where you wanted to
I'm
slap
dramatic
somebody?
and people, I just, often.
But you still love them.
Yes.
I know you do. I know it's in your heart.
But it's hard to give and keep going with somebody and put out more and more of you when there's no reciprocation of it. It's really hard to man, that's a struggle for me. If somebody wants to just even be quiet to me and not shut down and I can't help open them a little bit,
And
it
get
just
to where you
crushes me. I'm like, man, just go somewhere else. There's so much more about this than tattooing to me. I want to connect with you and I want to feel. I have this weird thing with people. We feel it, obviously. We all connected so well up there, and energy's real shit, man. And it's weird.
Again, back to that resonance, back to that intent. And like you said, when you went to that certain chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
you knew the intent wasn't there, right? It was mechanical.
Very.
So you went in there, they did the job, you didn't feel right about it. And maybe you would have given them another chance. I have had patients literally get sicker after treatment. So that's very clear.
Sure.
Because I don't want people to it has happened. In fact, it happened with Mike. Please tell your story. Come on up. Just,
But
just
you have
yell it out.
You can come
What
right.
story are we talking about?
When you hurt, you got really bad pain for 4 hours after treatment.
With the knee?
Your ear.
Oh.
You said your ribs hurt really bad. Remember?
Well, quite often when I get a treatment, I will go backwards. I get worse
But I think that's
for a day.
natural, right?
Not all people. Some people get good
Sometimes it
results
takes a lot of
immediately.
the.
I will take time, and then I start healing the next day or two very rapidly.
See, that's hard to argue with that though. If
Yeah,
you,
but yeah.
like a deep like, and I went when you guys told me this. I went to the massage thing, massaging up lymphatic and to do lymphatic work. You know, it's you feel like shit afterwards.
Yeah.
Detoxifying you. Maybe that's the idea, right? That's all I was getting at. Maybe it's a incredibly powerful detoxing thing of getting rid of whatever it is, and it gets in your body. You feel like shit, but then you start recovering dramatically fast.
And I have had
seems
people that they said
makes
they
sense.
got worse for a day after their back, like really bad,
Yeah.
and then they started getting better. But again, it feels like to me it's kind of like that accumulation. It is a little difficult, like I said, come on back 2 times a week for 3 or 4 weeks. That's hard for people, like you said, when it comes down to the finances.
Right.
That is a hard thing when they're strapped. In the long run, they'll save money, but how do you tell them, oh, well, it's going to cost you a couple $1,000 in the beginning. And they want me to tell them, how much is it going to cost? Well, I don't know how much it's going to cost for you. Mike had a bad knee. We have rebuilt the cartilage in his knee.
How priceless is that to think of it that way, right?
Yeah. How much would that have cost for Mike to have his knee
Let's start
replaced?
cutting on it.
Yeah, well, they would remove his leg.
with guaranteed, yeah,
right?
with guaranteed pain, guaranteed extreme expense, and guaranteed probably coming back to do more surgery. We have now just cured it. I don't
Right.
understand where the fight is.
Can you tell him your story about your knee, dear? Just tell him about your healing process.
Okay.
That works.
We treated my knee. Well, to start with, it was getting so bad, I could literally not step up one stair with that knee. I had to step up with the other leg and pull myself up. It would get swollen really bad if I walk up 100 yards. It gets so swollen it would take weeks to heal back up and calm down. I was told by 2 surgeons I needed to get it replaced. And she started treating it because I realized one day it was so bad. I realized either I'm going to be on a walker, wheelchair, not walking pretty soon. So she started training a specific way to treat me, and she treated me every 2 weeks for a year and a half. Now, this is one thing that patience is a big issue with acupuncture. But in that year and a half time of all those treatments, I worked it out a very specific way, very carefully, very systematically. She treated me constantly, and in that year and a half time, I started building a 2-story structure, and I'm building it largely by myself. And I'm 64 years old, so I'm jumping in and out of hole, working construction, up and down ladders all over the place, and my knee is doing quite well.
See, that's what's hard
And
to
this is
fucking argue
no knee
with.
replacement.
And there's new cartilage in.
Yes.
We've had X-rays. There's new cartilage in.
You've actually backed it up with that. See what I mean? That's
right.
it's powerful. That is incredible. It's
And
really
my back again.
It-
7 or 8 places.
and Erica are gonna die,
Yeah.
and you've saved.
No, I think that
It's stop.
I would have, honestly, I think your treatments helped me not go blind. I really did.
Your eye looks bad the other day. It really did. It was looking pretty bad. And I
It's-
can't believe
Today it looks
amazingly
it's so
different.
sensitive to light, but it looks so good.
Look, it works. The stuff is working. It works. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
I'm done with the medicine from the doctor, and I was getting worse.
Right.
There's
So you're on herbs. So the herbs, they really helped with the edema, didn't they?
I think it healed her other.
The acupuncture, I think, is what has helped with like
Mhm.
Now when you put the needles there, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Good.
So I
Good.
feel
See,
like
it's just weird, dude.
like me, like my bowels are working properly.
So,
I
do
know
you
that's
think
a
you
lot.
had IBS before this?
I think I had bile acid reflux from not having my gallbladder.
Okay, so you had some difficulty. That's a one thing I run into a lot. People will have their gallbladders removed, which
Hers
in
is gone.
China, they only remove about 15% of what they remove here. They treat it usually.
Think about just that.
I know. How much money would it save the government? How much money would it save the government, right?
And then
And
we
then the
can pay.
knee-
Then now the insurances
Yeah,
are going to start
yeah.
covering this. See,
And the knee, the whole thing there. So, any rate, she,
crazy.
they get their gallbladder out, but it doesn't solve the problem. It changes it. It may not be as severe of pain, but the pain along the gallbladder channel is still there because the meridian's still there. They'll say, but my gallbladder's out. But you still have a gallbladder meridian, and that is the nerve pathway. Remember, we talked about the nerves, right? The nerves didn't get taken out, and they were affected by the damaged gallbladder. So there's disharmony there, and if you just cut out a piece of it, did you fix the disharmony? No, you did not. Did we get rid of the blockage so that you can heal yourself back to self-healing? I'm not going to let that one go. We really are going to push that hard. People got to really step up to the plate right now, get their brains right, get their body healed, because that cannot be taken away from you, no matter what.
listen to the way a doctor would have talked about that. It's very different. You guys are so, not all of you, I'm certain of it. Not all tattooers are good. Not all DJs are good. But people that love their craft, listen to the way you speak of it. You know it just like the doctor does, but you're not just going to remove it. Like, you're talking about actually keeping things and helping things, and that is so crazy smart and intelligent to me, the way that thought process goes. Where it's the same.
Right.
They just want to quickly move to the next thing. And see how weird that's so
Let's
bizarre.
just cut out the problem. Let's not fix it. Let's cut it out. Let's take it away.
It's incredible to listen
your
to the
body didn't
different.
put that there for some reason. I don't know why it put a gallbladder there. So let's just cut it out.
It's just weird, man.
It's like Mike said, I have a throbbing hard penis, so I'm going to cut it off.
Yeah, wait. I have an idea.
Speaking of penis, so is this?
Yes, they do serve that as one of the aphrodisiacs for.
How long have you guys been married?
How long?
24. We're coming up on 24.
24 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this journey of medicine has kept you guys together? Do you feel like it's been harder doing this kind of trade together?
You'd have to answer that one, Mike.
Well, when you spend 24/7 together, you have issues.
Hey.
But it's wonderful. We have our own business. We call our own shots. People don't tell us how to run our business or whether we should be closed or not. And, our people are great. We love our patients. The people that come into us are really unique people, and we love them. They're like family to us.
They're like our people. Same thing.
Yes,
We call them our people. You think a doctor?
But
He
we
calls it
work
a
together-
patient.
We work together with this, and we've worked together for years. The whole 25 years we've been together, we've worked together. And so we've worked through issues.
Just that dynamic is incredibly difficult.
Things are really good for us right now.
Just the stress of it that we allow. We allow stress.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just there because it's a business. It's a business thing that we do this arguing thing, because when it shuts down, you just want to hold each other and everything's back to normal. We're going through the same thing.
Yeah.
It is so hard if we allow it to be so.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mike and I, we've had our moments. When we first started this, I'm like, oh, you can be the office manager. He looked at me like, what the hell am I going to do as the office manager? And he was bored stiff that first, year?
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, oh my God, I cannot keep up with, I have him running all over that office. He runs everything. You know this.
She knows.
You know how, and I mean, actually, we know that if it wasn't for them, our ass
Over.
would be
It's over.
There's no.
It's over.
And that's, I think, what makes our business more magic. We can focus on our passion.
We have the same dynamic.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Passion is there. You can focus, you can give, you can do. And yes, we've had our moments, but actually the whole COVID thing made it better for us. I think it brought us to being more focused on our goal and more about making sure we were healthy enough to help people. So it really brought us into a space, and it wasn't easy to get here during this whole thing, but it brought us into a space of like-mindedness that we have to have our shit together so that we can be a safe place for people to do whatever it is they need.
Because when you're shitty, people like me, it comes out of me. If we're not getting along, it comes out of me. Everybody can tell.
I know.
Every human around me can feel it.
I know.
How powerful is that?
Right. And how can you really be in your passion when you're pissed off?
Exactly.
You're, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do a really
Jade-
good design when I'm like,
Jade can feel it. And I think it's because I'm just so honest with who I am and me that it's throughout my every fiber that I'm upset. And I'm like, gosh, I've upset her and it just fucks with me so bad. I don't just hide it and I can't just let it go. Everybody around me feels it. It's bizarre. So people are...
Erase a bad tattoo.
People, don't come to me if I'm quiet. Go. if I'm being quiet in the chair, you need to leave. Isn't that incredible though? We are all so.
Him and Jade have both actually struggled the past couple weeks because I haven't been in the studio. So people are used to me in the studio.
and it's huge. That's,
And
it's like
Yep.
Mike
It's
is
an energy.
huge.
Where's Erica? She's dead.
What? Same thing with him. If he's not here, you can feel it.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything's different.
Absolutely.
It's-
Absolutely. It would
You
be
are
very
powerful when
different,
you're
yeah.
around people
Yes.
that have your same.
Again, you should have your group of people that love you and support
surround
you.
yourself with the people that you love and that you feel and that have that.
I've had people tell me I'm not allowed to have a day off again.
Oh, they do it here. They won't come. They'll walk in and be like, God damn it. What? There's a few that'll leave. I'm leaving.
Today was like, yeah, I only come here to see you.
It's powerful, dude. It truly is. Because
I
think
know.
about just going to do what you do every day. If you walk in and there's a certain thing or certain someone or certain whatever, you're like, man, God damn it. And everything changes. You're like, that comes out of you, man. You can feel it.
I know.
It's
And then,
dramatic.
yeah, I know. And that's one of the things it's really hard for me to slap myself back into. Like, stop being like that. You got to be a good person.
You got to put your game face on, man.
Yeah,
We're
you
going to put the
gotta-
needle in the eye here.
So are you guys originally from Wyoming?
Utah.
So why Evanston? Because it's kind of a
Because
random
I didn't want to
spot.
have my
Dude.
nose up my kid's ass. So it was like, okay, we're close. And then okay.
Yeah.
Do I get to talk about it?
Do it. Yeah, dude.
Okay.
These
Okay,
guys are.
so we
This is
are
crazy.
true rebels. We've been rebels our whole life. Both of us are little rebels. Like, we were wondering where all the people are that are our age that were rebels. We were rebels. So when I went into engineering, I wanted to have a place that was sustainable on its own. I always wanted that. So I've been thinking about that for many years. Mike we were in design build, remember? And that's why acupuncture fits perfect into that world.
Sure.
So Mike wanted to build houses or build a house out in the middle kind of nowhere. So we have wanted this for a long time. We couldn't find any land that we could afford in Utah. We're dirt poor, literally. I'll tell you why we're dirt poor. So if you have a pot, and in the old times, if you have a pot to piss in, you were called, you had a pot to piss in, right?
Well,
Is
you're
that-
piss poor.
you were piss poor because you could pee in the pot and take it to the tanning place, and then they would use your urine to tan the hides. So you could get a little bit of money because you were piss poor, right?
That's where this came from.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I was like,
Making
holy
a joke.
shit.
I just went
That
off.
is fucking cool.
No. But so then if you don't have
You
it's
have dirt floors.
if you have dirt floors, then you're dirt poor. So we are dirt poor because we have dirt floors. That's where that came from. Okay. So anyhow, and I went off a little bit, but
That's fun. That's fun.
okay. So we have designed a barn house that is in the middle of nowhere, and we're completely off grid. So we want to create freedom for people in our lives and allow people to feel free. That's what we're about, is freedom. Kind of
Not off the grid, not just off the grid. We're talking no road to where we live. They drive a fucking snowcat to get to their trailer. These people are in the middle of nowhere. It is truly unbelievable.
So
you guys are, it's incredible.
We have to haul our water in and out still. We're not
zero anything, bro.
So we have our solar. We have that. And we
it
have
is
a windmill.
fucking cool. I think it's so incredibly cool.
But what we've done is, I'm going to tell them a little bit about the design, because I think people need to know this.
It's
so
awesome.
we have made our own design. There's a thing called a GAT system, and you can look it up. It's a ground to air heat transfer. And what it is so pretend this thing is our footprint to our barn/house. And we dug 5 feet down, and then you layer it with tubing. And we have 3 layers of different kinds of tubing. And then you take these tubes and you connect a tube on the inside of the wall, and it goes up the wall. So then you have a south-facing wall with a little bit of east and west, and the sun comes in all winter long. It heats up the air. All you have to have is fans. It takes the heat from the ceiling and drives it into the ground. It's called an earth battery. So then at night, when it's cold, it releases the heat back into the room. So you can grow vegetables in your house all winter long with no extra heat.
Wow. Evanston cold. These
40, it can get 27 below up there, but it hasn't.
We're talking,
gotten that cold.
it is fucking insane. They're living it. It's a trailer. It's a trailer with a little thing built around it.
That is incredible.
It's fucking amazing. I mean,
and he's building this with a
it gives me
knee
goosebumps.
that we rebuilt.
It is. That's truly
64.
unbelievable.
That is incredible. Knowing that you guys live in Wyoming, though, like, I think the big question is, did you guys play the Mega Millions and the Powerball?
No. Did anybody win?
I don't believe
you
so.
might be able to buy
Isn't
a house.
it like $1 billion, I think? Now?
Collectively, it's a $1.6 billion.
Holy sh!
For Wyoming.
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna be all looking into the other stuff. Anyhow, so so you get those layers. Now we're doing an experiment. Not that many people have done it, but we do have a little sunroom that we got, because it's slowly. We have to do it slowly. We have a little sunroom that we've got, and it's not all the way insulated, and so it's not all the way done, but it's gotten below zero out there, and it's not gotten below zero in there. So you could theoretically grow some vegetables or whatever, food.
Weed.
And it
I'm going to weed. Sorry.
You can grow things in there.
Things
okay?
can grow.
Yes, they can grow and thrive. And again, self-healing. People do not realize how important sun is. Sun is incredibly important for our bodies. We're all inside under artificial light.
During the day, all day.
All day. We don't get out in the sun. This sunroom, you use the windows that don't have the UVB protectant on them, so you can sit in the sun. It's 40 degrees in there in the morning when we'll get up, go out there and sit. And I can sit there in my underwear, so don't come out to my house because I'm old.
You don't know where the fuck they're at anyway. You can't. This place is in the middle of nowhere.
So you sit there in the sun, and I think I got sunburned today, but you accumulate UVB. Plus, if you have an injury, the sun rays, what are they using? Light therapy to heal. Hello, just sit in the sun.
It's incredible, man.
Vitamin D.
The intelligence and the information the comes out of you is truly amazing to listen.
Thank you.
It's insane to listen to it. It's
well, no, it's not. It's simple.
It is. I don't think it's simple at all. It's cool, man. It's powerful. is
And
what it is.
People can do this, and they can do it relatively inexpensively, but you got to have the drive like you do. Like, look at what you've built. And you have, again, a passion for it, and you just keep going because you have a passion. Because some days you don't feel like going for it.
But you do. And them are the days I push even more to get myself out of that. And
because you've done it already here. I see it with what you've done.
With health, it's the same idea. People just...
But we're just...
It's just you push. Just
how empowering is that if you can build your own place and have heat with minimal amount of outside source? You can be self-sustainable. You can have some food. How empowering is that for people to feel that freedom? And they can do it. They can do it.
Just that in itself it would seem incredibly healing. Like, you just feel good. You feel great.
Like,
look at what we just did. We're doing that. It's neat.
Well, I think that happens in many different aspects in life, right?
Right.
For Junior, it was saying fuck the power company, right?
Right.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
Exactly.
Right.
You just start feeling the change inside you.
You went with your passion.
Absolutely.
But I cannot stress enough. When I went to medical school, if I would not have had his support, I couldn't have done it. If you didn't have her support to do this, and I know I heard you saying how you supported him to get into this, you bought equipment, you got him, you were that push behind him. I asked Mike, I said, I'll do this. And he said, yeah. And I thought he wasn't going to say yeah. And I went, fuck, I got to go back.
Shit, I really got to do this.
Yeah.
I thought you would say no. God damn it.
Totally. And then I went, fuck,
back to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one last question from me. Give me 5. I'll say 5 herbs that you have to live with.
Oh,
you cannot live without only 5.
This is a good one. I'm so glad
you want to
brought
see
this
their
up.
fucking herb thing.
Okay, so this is.
It is
thank you for bringing
insane.
that up.
Nutritionist too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
her list of
so
stuff.
that's another thing. If people ever want to call me and we can set up a consult time, I really am pushing. People need to have some herbs and some food in storage. It doesn't matter. It's things that you would use anyway. So it's not a bad place to spend your money right now, right?
Sure.
So one of those things would be you want to have some kind of freeze-dried powdered vegetables. We carry a supplement. You don't have to get it from us. Just have some. Get something that's got like 2 servings per scoop. And then you've got that in your storage because people are going to maybe not have access to vegetables. And then you've got some nutrition there. Get some bone broth. Have some good grass-fed bone broth. You have no idea the power of that in Chinese medicine. That is like one of the first go-tos for people that are really sick. Bone broth. That's crazy.
Something that we can obtain. This is not stuff that's hard to get.
So I like a couple of them. I don't know if I can say.
You can say anything you want.
Any names. I don't want to get anybody in any trouble. There's a couple of them that I can think of right off the bat that I've researched, and it's Kettle Fire and Bonafide. Those 2 are really good. You can make your own, but I cannot stress how important it is to get good quality, because if you have an animal that was in a feedlot and they spray them and they feed them all kinds of garbage and they give them all kinds of chemicals, and then let's go cook down their carcass. Can you imagine how much chemical is in their carcass?
What could be the number one problem in the world right now? Hello,
right.
people.
So if you have a clean animal
Yeah.
that was raised naturally without all that stuff, and they're out in the fields running around happy as can be, and you cook down their bones, what is that going to be like compared to the other? So you want a good bone broth, have that in storage. Just make sure it says 100% grass-fed, no antibiotics or hormones. That's really important. So those are some food items that everybody should be having. Have some, water. You can go without food for quite a long time. You want to have some good fats. Avocado oil is a really good one. MCT, depending on the MCT oils, is a really good one to have. So you want to have a few of those. You can have some olive oil. It's really hard to find good olive oil. It's super good for your vascular system. So olive oil, having that. as something. If you can grow a few things, that would be a really good idea. Okay, back to the herbs. First herb I ever learned about was san chi.
Jesus, I've never even heard of that.
San chi is a type of ginseng. There's a lot of different types, so you have to be really careful. San chi will stop bleeding, and it can move blood. So it's really good for if people are bleeding out or if they have blood clots.
For both. How crazy is that?
Yes, it's a really cool herb, and it is really good. But again, you need to be talking to an herbalist because of dosing. You can overdose on it, so you want to make sure that you get a good herb or a good herbalist, and you want somebody that's
If only I knew
trained.
one.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. Anyhow, and then, so san chi is a really good one. I would say andrographis is a good herb. It's a good broad spectrum antiviral, antimicrobial kind of herb to have around. Let me think. I love dongshan. It's a good tonifier. And dong gui is another good tonifier. Blood mover, turmeric. That's a simple one.
That is the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm a basic bitch because I'm like basil,
Like parsley.
rosemary.
You got to listen to him break down, say anything you want, and she can break down what it's all about and what this will actually do this to your body. It's amazing to listen to these people talk.
Chinese medicine is cool how they
It
looked
is
at it.
so
yeah,
cool.
It is kind of cool. They looked at the
She's like, you need more
energetics.
cilantro because you work with metal a lot, and that will pull metal from your system. It's just crazy to me.
But again,
to listen
would
to
turmeric be
the
good
idea.
for everybody? Maybe not. Ginger is an excellent herb. Mike doesn't do well with it. So not everybody's you got to pay close attention to your body. So if you don't do well with ginger, maybe you should go more towards a mint.
Always go with a ginger. Sorry.
You may not do well with ginger.
I'm a ginger.
Do you do well with ginger?
I love ginger.
You do
Actually, I
good
love
with
it.
it.
I
Good.
absolutely love it.
Do you do good with ginger? You do?
She does well with this
That's
ginger. God, sorry. Fuck. The people aren't watching. I'm a redhead. Don't shake your head, Dre.
So they didn't cut off your penis when it was hard and throbbing?
No, that's because of the ginseng. Isn't that an erectile?
Okay, back to there's different ginsengs. You got to be really careful with this stuff. And the other thing that people do not understand about herbs, this is crazy stuff. So,
They're powerful.
but if you get herbs, there's a lot on the market that are really contaminated. And you could be getting something super toxic. You have no idea. You make sure you go to somebody and you ask them, are your herbs tested in the U.S.? You can get them grown in another country. That's good. But they need to be tested here because they can say anything they want anywhere else. But if they've been tested here, then you've got at least a little bit of something. So you want to make sure that you get something that's grown here.
Good quality people
Yeah.
that know quality stuff.
Exactly. Because you can get anything from anywhere. And when I've seen pictures where they store them, like on concrete floors in warehouses, and they'll get moldy in the middle or on the bottom. Rats can get to them. Birds can get to them. So you don't know.
Now you have a serious fucking problem.
When I was in medical school, the last I checked, and I don't know what it is now, cordyceps, a type of cordyceps, is dongchang xiezao, is it is such a highly sought. It's $15,000 a pound,
Holy shit.
and they put lead in it. Some people will put lead in it, like lead wire, into the worms because they're worms. If you're getting that expensive one, and is to increase the weight. So you're
Son
eating
of a
lead, yeah,
Bitches.
yeah, because
Horrible for you.
but yeah. So you got to be really careful about where you're purchasing your herbs.
Sure.
And just go to an herbalist if you feel like you need something. Ginger's always a good thing to have in hand. Always good. Always good. But like I said, the san chi is like number one. Mahuang is a really good one, but it's illegal now.
What's an incredibly... Why? Jesus, we need to talk about this one.
Ephedra.
Really?
As far as
so you
I
can get sped up on it.
As far as I understand, I can legally have it, but I won't carry it because of
Speeds
the
up.
FDA. Because if you do not process it, we've been taught how to process it, but because it's speed.
Yeah.
That's what.
I need some.
Yeah, right.
Dude, listening to her, you just being around it and listening to it in your place and in the way you guys are, it is so neat that you're so smart, man. It is incredible to listen to. It's undeniable to walk in there and feel anything but trust and
Oh, I had a few people that don't trust me.
That's
They call
fine.
me a witch doctor.
that's fine. Good
And I
riddance.
kind of look like a witch.
Go get on Prozac and all the other horseshit stuff for the rest of your life and die somewhere. Go. That's fine. That's these people. I'm serious. It's like you can't deny it when you feel it. When you go in and you connect with it, you just
But
can't.
I did get coined the Stabbing Shack by, we were talking about that earlier, by one of my patients. I absolutely adore him. He only had like 1 or 2 patient treatments, and he was completely better. His back was jacked up, and so I shouldn't even told that story because I don't want people to think it
We'll
usually
edit it.
happens. 2 treatments, it doesn't.
Placebo. I mean,
I don't know.
Who knows?
Is it? I mean, the dog. Is there a placebo with a
I
dog?
don't think so. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I doubt it.
I don't believe so. They don't.
It's powerful.
They don't know.
This
I
stuff
would like
is.
to treat a bird one day. I think that would be cool. We saw an eagle. It looked like it was injured. And I was going to stop and grab it. And I thought, well, that's stupid.
God,
It's
you
going
go
to
to
claw the
prison.
shit out of you.
Or
Can you imagine?
They're
trying to
so
pick up
scary big.
a bird like
We see
that
'em-
to treat it.
They die on our power lines all the time when I was the lineman, and they're huge birds. My
I know.
God, golden eagles, they're beautiful, and they're so big.
I know.
Y-
Could
when
you
you get
imagine
next to
picking
one,
one
it's-
up that's injured, though? That's stupid.
No, no. You're dying, pal.
Here, let me do some needles on you.
You would go straight to it. Isn't it a federal offense to even kill one? Or
Oh,
You-
not
like,
to even be
near, like to pick up their carcass, I think.
Yep, you can't even touch a dead one. There's very specific, very incredibly specific laws to it. We have people we call immediately to come handle them.
Really?
Native Americans though can actually. We did a whole bunch of stuff in Billings on the Crow reservation. Man, it's an interesting group of people. Very intelligent too. They're into all this, but they can walk up and they can use them. They'll take it. So
The feathers, yeah.
our people will give that allegedly. Our people will bring them to these tribes, and they can have them. But yeah, you touch one, you're going straight to prison.
could you imagine your whole life being ruined for trying to help an eagle?
How weird is that? It's kind of creepy.
Don't go to prison, please.
I wasn't going to, after I
They'll never
realized it, I
fucking
was
find
like,
her if she heads to
I'm
their
not
place.
Catching that.
Good fucking luck.
You might be able to help a lot of people in prison.
There is some, I think there was some treatment stuff done. I don't know, in Albuquerque, I don't know though. I don't think they would let you take needles in to a prison.
They can make them.
I just thought about another question. I don't even think you told us how long and how deep you put these needles in people.
Oh.
You ought to see these things.
Oh, that is a loaded question. All the way from the surface of the skin, literally not even puncturing the skin, to very deep. If you've got somebody with some great big booty and they got really bad nerve pain, you want to get to that nerve. So yeah, you're gonna bury.
That's incredible.
You're gonna have a needle 4 inches, 5 inches.
Holy criminy.
Yeah.
Do you think you can take 4 inches?
I have. We'll cut that out. Salty sex cast. They know all about that. Fucking really. Just send it all the time. Could you?
I couldn't.
I don't think I could.
couldn't.
So, depending on who you are,
Oh, you
that's
guys are just a bunch of
that
babies.
shit can be
you
like
expect
this.
us to take all kinds
That's
of
4 inches right there.
Yeah, that's why I said I want a cup. Like, I'm good with the cupping, but I can't take. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of bleeding cup?
No. What is that?
Bleeding cup is another one. Bleeding isn't excellent tool. Remember we talked
Oh
about,
my God. See?
so you poke somebody really hard, and
Yes.
then you're going to poke, and maybe you're going to have a little bit of blood come out, and then you're going to feel amazing after you get that blood to come out. And you're going to go, dang, that worked really good. So I bet, I don't know this for a fact, but I bet before needles, they had bleeding because they would have massaged. And then when they were self-treating, they would have been poking at it because it hurt so bad. So then they would have poked a hole in it, and then it felt amazing. So they probably would have had bleeding first, and then probably bleeding cup after that. And then they probably would have had needles last, I would think. But I don't know.
All the tools and stuff you guys.
Bleeding
It is.
crazy good. It's in. I was told by one of the doctors that worked in the hospital in China. They said they would have people stand up in buckets. They'd have like their leg in a bucket, and then they would poke the back of their leg. There's a really good point back there.
Femoral artery.
Yeah, it would squirt.
Jesus, that is fucking illegal. Is what that is. That's some
We
saw
don't
shit.
do that here.
God.
I don't know. I've done that a little bit.
That is so
by
dramatic.
accident. It's like
Shit.
Oh, like
Okay, call the. We gotta get quick. What's that herb that stops bleeding?
Sanji.
Give me some Sanchi, Michael. Hurry it up.
No, we haven't run into any. I have
That's
had a
incredible,
few cases
though.
where I had unintended bloodletting. Let's put it that way, and the results were pretty amazing. It was.
God, that's incredible.
So yeah, but when you do bloodletting, it's like a tablespoon. You could get more than that in cups, but it is a wonderful tool. You're not getting like a quart of blood or a pint of blood. It's not like that. It's not like that. You are just doing small amounts in small areas. And again, you're moving blood. So, and then cupping. Okay. So have you guys ever heard of PRP? Platelet-rich plasma?
Like no.
They draw blood out and they spin it, and then they inject
Okay.
the plasma.
Okay.
Okay, and it regrows tissues, whatever. Any rate, cupping, I think that's a lot like that, because what it does is it creates a bruise, a hickey.
Yeah, I've seen her back.
Yeah, so it creates a hickey. It feels amazing. Sometimes it will hurt people. It depends.
Hurts them to get them better.
Yeah, well, I didn't
It's
like it in the
weird.
beginning. It felt too pinchy, is what I mean.
Right.
But it's not that bad for what it looks like. It looks like somebody beat you afterwards.
when I seen it.
looks bad.
Yeah.
And then so you have the cup on there, and you've got this hickey, and what that is broken capillaries, right? So then you've got a pool of blood in there, right? What does the body do with a pool of blood? It's going to clean that up. So how does it clean that up? You have to get new capillary growth and bring in new blood cells, new white blood cells to come in and pull out that dead blood so you don't get infection, right? So you get new nutrition from the new blood, right? You get the garbage is getting cleaned out, right? And you get kind of like an inside-out massage.
It is crazy to hear it like that. You're stimulating the body to work.
To heal, right? And if you do it in the right points,
Seems unarguable.
right? When you do it in the right points, then you get a lot of help. So then
When you
the
understand
PRP
Meridian,
with,
it's crazy.
it's something that Chinese medicine does too. But when you do that, you're injecting those platelets. Well, when you're cupping, you're just creating it right there. So you just got cheap PRP, really inexpensive.
It's amazing.
And so it's pretty good. I've had people, though, sometimes when I cup, they might even bleed a little bit without any stimulation for bleeding.
And
Sometimes it'll
heat
come.
on this cup is just right as the idea. It's pulling and creating a
Well,
vacuum.
there's different kinds.
Bizarre
Make
how
sure
it's
if you
cool.
get cupping, that they've been trained again.
Yeah.
Because there are things that can happen if they there was somebody, a chiropractor that I guess had not been adequately trained, that did some cupping on a patient in Wyoming, and the patient ended up getting MRSA. So, it's not, that could happen even under sterile conditions.
Uh-huh.
But if you're trained right, you're going to watch for situations like that You're going to be a little bit more careful about situations like that. You're not just going to go crazy, and because you can have situations like that, you know. I have another story. I was really, 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 really lucky and blessed to be in the school I was. It was one of the best schools. It was the second highest rated school in the nation when I went. And there was a woman that had a non-healing wound, and I never would have guessed this, ever. I would never have thought that acupuncture would do this, or Chinese medicine. She had a non-healing wound. She had an ileostomy. They removed part of her colon. She had Crohn's disease, and she had it removed when she had her baby. And the wound between her perineum and her rectum would not heal. Well, she couldn't clean that wound. She had a new baby. She was stuck in bed. She could not walk. She got to us 2 years into it. They tried everything. The doctors could not get that wound to heal. She couldn't really clean it. She was on a walker. It was bad. She was in bad shape, and it smelled like rotting meat.
Oh, dear God. And
so she came in. She got on some herbs. I wasn't treating her at the time. It was somebody else. And this is all for educational. You don't know who it is. At any rate, she, the wound, she did the herbs. She didn't like them. She had a reaction she thought was bad. It was part of the process. She got some spots on her tongue. She quit taking it. She came in 2 weeks later. The smell was still gone just from a couple of days of herbs. I got her at that point, and I did topical herbs, a protocol. The wound healed in 6 weeks. She was walking in the mall unassisted in 2 weeks after we started treatment, and she was only getting acupuncture once a week. I asked the master that was over us, because we had like resident doctors, and he was the resident over us. I said, what would you do in China? And he said they would be in the hospital. He would debrief the wound every day. He would put the herbs on it and treat her, and she'd have oral herbs and acupuncture every day. That's what they would do. That's how aggressive they would be. But she was very resistant and couldn't afford it. But still, the surgeon was so blown away. He wanted to get the herbs to put inside fistulas, because the fistulas that drain off of wounds. He was so impressed, and I was blown away. I've used that formula since on non-healing wounds with people, and we have had miraculous results. Would you ever think to go to an acupuncturist for that?
I think the number one problem is
I wouldn't.
People, no, the answer is absolutely not. I wouldn't even have thought about. There's no education to it. People don't know about it.
Right. Again,
that's why I'm saying this is so powerful, man.
Right. That one blew me away. I went home crying on that one. That one was crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That one was. I was like, oh my gosh, you cannot believe it. And then there was another case of a woman that had a stroke. And when I was working on the traumatic brain injuries, her whole right side was dead. I put one needle in, and she was able to move her foot. It was temporary because she needed regular treatments, but she couldn't move her foot. And I put one needle in, and she moved her foot. That's crazy.
It's just amazing.
That one blew me away. And I shouldn't tell them about the show, should I? Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to listen to the actual stuff that is happening around us.
So Hellraiser was actually a really good treatment plan.
That dude is healthy as hell. That guy's doing fine. They're nails, I think.
That's about what you look like, right?
Oh, you gotta see it. It's fucking weird, dude.
Do you got a picture of all the needles in your face?
No, we did.
Oh, damn.
She's snoring real good.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, she won't be posting that one.
I had another question. You said you grew up in Utah.
Well, I grew up in Idaho.
Oh, you grew up in Idaho.
I raised my children in Utah.
Was there any backlash from like the LDS Church on your practice in medicine?
Actually, I was
God damn you.
surprised.
That is a perfect question. See?
I was surprised here, or even in Evanston, there's still a high volume of LDS. There are some people that, are like, ooh, no, we're not doing that. But I've treated bishops and bishops' wives.
But as a whole, there's no.
Not really. I think the backlash that I felt, and Mike, you can hit me on this, but it's very different now because of everything that's going on. We are so close to our community now. It's crazy how close we are. But
hopefully that
previously, it will. I think it will.
It's beautiful the way that's worked.
Yeah, it's become very much the opposite of what I think whatever was out there. It's very surprising. But
we feel the same thing.
Before, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Very interesting how that's. But before that, I feel like it was more of a cliquish thing. More of, you're not in our group. Not that we were. There's a few people that I think got that sense of it. You're not in the religion, but it was more of we need to have somebody in our community that represents our clique or something. That's kind of how that felt.
Well, and it's interesting to think if they feel if that feels as if it's a negative, dark thing. I wonder if they believe that, if that's an idea. Are you guys looked as you guys are you is that looked upon as like a dark thing, like an anti?
The way I come across, I try to work with people based on their belief system, not mine, because I want to help. I'm not going to heal anybody. They heal themselves. I want to be a practitioner to help them get to where they get to go. And if they believe in something so wholeheartedly, I empower that for them. So when I talk about you get your shit together, go do some meditation, some people are like not going to resonate with that because they're very religious. But if I tell them, you need to go and pray 10 times a day, and when you pray, you embrace God, whatever that is for you, in that prayer so that you feel that, so that it changes your body chemistry. Because that's what we're after.
You're covering every basis with this. That's cool.
But because then they've got that self-healing, right?
Right. You
see, empower them, right?
Yeah, you guys are smart. That is smart.
You don't, but
it doesn't matter what empowers them. That's what you're saying.
Right.
You embrace that. I think that's so cool.
Don't you kind of do that too?
Absolutely.
You're not going to go in there and say, you have to do what I
never thought of it. Listen to you talk, man. It's crazy the way you think. It's neat. How in tune with all of that I feel you are. You explain that so well, because I never would have thought of it that way at all.
Well,
just making you happy, just praying, just doing whatever it is you believe in, whatever that is, even into religion. Most people won't go there. They won't even go there. You know, it's like, that's so neat.
But isn't that a big core of people's lives?
It is. It would just be amazing if
you were saying Sifu Lee, right? Was that so cool for you to see that spiritual aspect of that?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it was like magical. It was like, just out of the norm from, a kid from the hood. And you see this guy doing really cool things.
Right. And it made you, but so who am I to say that your religion is better than that?
Yeah.
No.
I just think it's cool. You can feel the power of that. You're not trying to, it just feels different than anything else. You're not going down one thing. Like I said, there's no blanket to fix a thing. You're very open to whatever it is and you're helping people, man. You're actually helping people.
I guess that would be maybe the senseis that taught me. Maybe what they taught me was when we give them our love that's unconditional, right? And so when you give somebody your love and you're doing a tattoo on them, there's no condition with that. You're not going to say, well, you have to go home and wash the car for this tattoo to turn out right.
Yeah, dude. She's a sensei. I think she could. It's just weird to listen to how you break it all down. I think it's so cool.
Are you I know we were talking about treatment, but are you documenting your own like combinations of medicine that you see? Like,
Well, we have to write. We're supposed to be writing down what we do, and they have protocols that you learn. You learn protocols. That's part of the whole standardized medicine.
Mm-hmm.
They say this. So if you have qi deficiency, or if you have yin deficiency, or if you have liver qi excess, these are the protocols that you're going to do. If you have a what some of the other ones, cold in the something meridian, whichever meridian it is. If you have Xiaoyang disorder, you're going to do these certain protocols. But and they have it blanketed out. But then that's just the guide. It's like,
Yep.
when you do a tattoo, you know that you have certain rules you follow, and then that's just the beginning, right? And then you go beyond that.
Right.
And it's the same thing. So, yes, I'm going to have documentation, but again, and that's one of the bad things about testing Chinese medicine, and one of my doctors hated that. He hated the test, like the double-blind studies.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do the same protocol and get the same results. It doesn't work.
Oh,
So
that's
you
creepy.
can't do-
That's so accurate.
But you can't do the same tattoo on everybody. You cannot pump those out, the same tattoo every day. It doesn't. You can't.
Wow. That's you're right.
The body's different.
But to manufacture a chemical,
Yes,
they can fucking nail it. With a blanket of what it's going to happen,
But do we want
and
to
just sell the shit out of this stuff. It's
Right.
crazy.
But do you want to ignore Western medicine?
No.
Hell no.
No.
Your
They're
brother
incredible
got
humans
saved,
too.
right?
They are. They're incredible.
He did, but they also did a few years back, they also did an unnecessary surgery on him and cut his joints open on his wrists and his knees, and so they jumped the gun. They shouldn't have.
And maybe if they would have been open
As-
to other thinking.
Well, they had him on vancomycin, which he was allergic to. Had they went back to the paper files that didn't get put in the computer from his accident, they would have known that. But they were giving him high, heavy doses and killing him, and told me, if we don't power wash his joints out, all this stuff. And so I trusted them. I was at the University of Utah.
Yeah, you
This
think that they...
doctor should have known that that's really what was going on. And so I was like, yeah, cut him open. If they were the doctors, but
Right.
I signed for multiple surgeries on my brother that did not need to happen.
Oh, my God.
It was-
I'm sorry.
It was really crazy, but they're human, and they make
Yes,
mistakes.
yes,
and
yes.
And then they did
That's
a
so-
$1.5 million study on him instead of listening to the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of listening to it.
And that's the first thing we're taught.
And then they came back and was like, oh, we should have listened to you.
Yeah.
but back to your point is that they both are so critical.
But, yeah,
Why not
they
have
did
both?
everything they
Both. You know what
Well,
I mean?
and that would be an ideal world, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Why not have both sides of all of these things happening right now and just let's make something happen here.
Right, right.
It's even into the politic thing. Very simple. Like
Yeah, I know.
it's so crazy. How
I
it's-
know, but that's not how the power structure is.
It's really
we both
not.
know that, right?
And it's funny how you guys don't do a power thing. You're very much
Oh, Mike will not let us be. I'm like,
not even
Mike.
literally but just with people. You're not in, it's not a money thing. It's not, you guys aren't in this.
But we still have to make a living. Don't you
Sure,
have
sure.
to we got to
But
make a
that-
living.
It's not what
But
you
that's-
feel. when
that's
you
not
walk
the
in there.
drive.
It's
Yeah.
it's a different experience. It's just different. It's a different experience. When you walk into a doctor, you know that guy has a $10 trillion house. See what I mean?
Yeah,
You
I
guys live in the goddamn desert
We're dirt
in the middle
poor.
of nothing. It's just crazy.
But
'cause
we're
you-
not piss poor.
I'm pretty sure it's just a nudist colony. Like that's the vibes I'm getting.
Oh, we're not even gonna go into that.
That is the vibes that.
Oh,
I'm
it is too freaking cold for that.
The
stuff.
Lewis family is a fucking
Way
trip.
too cold.
Her family.
We're talking about there is no throbbing, huge penis to cut off because
It's not that big, man.
Thanks a lot, there.
Don't throw my man Mike under the bus.
He's back there like, yeah, now I want a fucking mic.
He's like, it's throbbing now. It's toasty in this garage.
I'm telling you. This experience has been incredible. Meeting you guys really was, it was neat, man.
Well, thank you for the shout out for us.
Thank you for Jade to even start it.
Yes, thank you, Jade. Thank you, Jade.
It wouldn't have happened.
Jade's your granddaughter, right?
Yeah.
Is she your favorite granddaughter?
Fucking load it up
she
on the
is.
camera. She's the favorite granddaughter in here right now. That's a true statement.
You got it. Yes. So if you guys are ever interested, you're welcome to come on in.
People,
We'll do some moxa on you.
it's incredible. I am
You still got to try it though.
I will.
Coming in the second he gets back to Utah.
And I'm gonna do it. I think it's interesting. It's incredible. You guys are neat. Just being in the presence of somebody that truly gives everything to what they do is pretty unique to feel that in any craft. It doesn't matter the craft, and I felt that there. I'm not a smart dude at all. I'm not stupid either, though. And I feel like when I walk in, when you can feel things when they're right, and you feel knowledge, and you feel it. We felt that there, and I think we all need to search for that all the time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I knew where to, I felt him when he comes to help. I know it's right.
You felt me.
I've felt you a lot. When shit's right, it's right. It's real.
Don't be going to no surgeon about that.
He's got boner on the brain all night tonight. What's going on? This guy.
It's her energy. That's all that is.
It's the maca root circling that way.
It's like after your
Totally.
acupuncture, you know, the
There is
energy's
a
right.
point. There is a point for it. There is a point for it.
Where's it at?
You're like,
By
sorry.
the butthole.
By the, oh yeah, you told me that.
Yes.
I'm telling you. Humming.
I've never had to use it.
We've talked about breathing. There's a thing for breathing.
Yes. Don't forget to do your breathing. Wim Hof breathing. I think it's good. It's helped me. And I know he's weird, but
Oh, he's on Rogan. Did you ever see that on Rogan?
Mm-mm.
Dude's crazy, man.
But he went to Mount Everest in his shorts. He climbed Mount Everest in his
People
shorts.
can't even climb the mountain.
Yeah, I know.
Period.
And
Just at all.
Have you ever seen it? How it's got the wind blowing like ice blowing?
Well, yeah, most people have a backpack full of oxygen when they go up
And
there.
And
he-
10
yeah.
million clothes and science and everything to prove.
Yeah.
The dude's done it 3 times in his underwear
Yeah, he's nuts. But he's
with his nuts.
he's nuts. But
It's just
he shows you how easy it is.
how powerful your body,
Yes, exactly. Just like
your
go to
mind
the
is.
place, start unblocking yourself. Go get some acupuncture. Get some acupuncture so that you can start. I cannot stress that enough. Get some acupuncture. Just doing that tool starts unblocking the channels so that you can start healing yourself.
Unclogging your river.
Yes,
It's-
your rivers.
It's neat, man.
Yeah,
It
or
truly is.
Like you said, what did you say about the power down on something?
Yeah, it's the current power line loss. If it's
Line loss. That's what you said.
we correct that energy when it's leaving the line. That's line loss. It's really dramatic on the power line. We fix that. Whatever that is. It's the same idea.
Exactly.
And it gets the current flowing back in the same direction in unison and down the same.
Hello.
It's the
That's
same thing.
exactly the same thing,
So-
is it not?
How undeniable can that be? It's you can't fight. You can't argue with it.
Yeah, I knew you could help with that whole analogy of how acupuncture works.
I think it's insane because I'm just watching it work. Just talking to you sells it by itself, just listening to it. But when I watch it work on someone, guys, it's not a joke. This shit is weird. She feels like $1 million afterwards, and that's just, it's incredible. It really is. And
But I'm glad we're being honest about it too, because a lot of times you'll go to somebody and they'll say, "Yeah, I fix you in 10 treatments or something." Whatever, and it's like, I want to explain to people that yes, maybe that will happen, but maybe it won't. Maybe it will take time.
maybe I can do your back piece in X amount of time. You can't. Life doesn't work this way.
Right.
It's very tied
Because
to
it's
life. You're
life. Exactly.
like, look, we're gonna work with this. I can't. It's the same thing we deal with. Same idea. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, man. We'll just come and let's start working with you, and it's gonna happen. It's the same.
Right.
It's cool.
Right. And and hopefully I'm going to give you tools. And maybe I get too passionate about that, but I try to give people tools to heal themselves
Maybe
as well.
you do get too passionate. That's why you're so good at what you do.
But
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just have shame on you. You're so passionate. And you give tools. I feel it here. You can feel it just talking to you. It's incredible, man. You're very powerful. And I think you're not taking it. You need to open up to it. You are a powerful human being, and just listening to you is awesome.
Well, thank you.
You can feel it. So I think everybody needs to hear it. They need to hear it.
Well, thank you.
It's cool, man. It's needed right now.
It is needed right now. I think, like I said, people
More than
go
ever.
get the $20 treatment. Go whatever. Just start getting something for yourself. Do some self-healing. Take care of yourself right now. This is important. And that doesn't mean the bottle of whiskey.
See that?
Sorry.
It's real. That's very, very real. People need to hear all that. I think that's neat.
Yeah. Well, and when I hear from people that the alcohol sales are going out the roof,
Like
it makes me concerned.
quadrupled. It's just, they say it's insane.
Yeah.
One of my clients works at the liquor store as an officer guarding the liquor store, and it is insane.
He said has quadrupled. Did you
It's
say?
yeah, it's through the roof.
Wow.
They've never seen it this bad. Great. They love it, right?
Right.
They're selling it, man. They love it, but it's sad, man. It's a tricky time right now, and people are looking for anything. Stuff is incredibly powerful. It's cool.
Right.
Try something,
Right. Anything. Right. Go get a
Anything.
tattoo.
especially what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah.
Quit your boozing and you're just tripling it up and trying to, man, what's gonna get you? It's not working out, man. Try something new.
Right.
This stuff's cool.
So
Right.
what is that? I mean, cause I'll bring a bottle of booze. I ain't gonna lie. Like to a bottle.
Holla.
I'll bring a bottle of booze like as a gift. You know, hey, I'm here. What does the acupuncturist bring to the party?
Needles. And fucking scary pain.
Oh.
She brings booze too. Don't let it trick
No,
you.
actually, I don't. What was that?
Weed.
Yes,
It's
actually, I
weed.
do.
Duh. It's a
Yeah.
no.
Actually, I'll bring dried fruit and nuts. I'm really a purist that way. I'm sorry. Ask
Don't be.
Jade. I'm bad that way. It's like,
It's not bad. I think it's cool, man.
I'm definitely about healing, and that does not bring healing from my own past experiences. But that doesn't mean that you can't go have your drink. You know what I mean? Just encouraging people. Go find some ways to help yourself get better. Because that guy doing the Tai Chi, he wasn't back there boozing it up. Fu Lee.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He was probably smoking hella weed though.
Yeah.
See, he was an herbalist. I'm an herbalist.
A lot of tea, a lot of Tai Chi, and a lot of fucking.
Hello, red ginseng.
Yes, and don't forget that is part of your health. There is
Absolutely.
we need to cut this short, but
Don't cut anything.
there is a guy out there.
Especially this.
What is his name? I'm blanking out now. He's all about sexual health. In Chinese medicine, it's a big deal.
We had sexual health people on last time.
Yes.
It's incredibly powerful.
If a person is not having healthy sex, It shows that they're ill. And that's what I always ask older men, are you having normal erections? Because that's like the first thing to go. If you have vascular problems, because I am their doctor, and it's like, well, I'm not their doctor, but I'm their, they're coming to me for health.
That's a doctor.
And if they want to get healed, it's like, okay, so this is what we're going to talk about. We need to talk about your health. What is that? Everything, right? And so that's one of the first things I ask them. And they'll come around. They usually do come around and they'll say, well, I am having some issues.
Right.
And then, but that's a slow process because it usually has to do with prostate. But it's the Tao of, I cannot remember his name. It's not popping in, but he has a whole practice based on having good sexual health to create more testosterone in your body. And it creates a better vibrancy. He's kept himself healthy by doing that, just by doing that practice. So
isn't like Sting is crazy for that. The artist Sting, he's way into that.
But doesn't he do the tantric
I
sex?
think whatever it is,
this
it's
is different.
Incredibly sexually thing. Like I listened to a huge thing about it. It was awesome to listen to him. He's really, really intelligent.
Because tantric sex is different than the way that this guy does. So one of the exercises is that you beat your penis on your leg.
What if it's not fucking, God damn it. It's not big enough. I'm just kidding.
Literally, you're trying to stretch it out. You're working with it. You do all these exercises with the dantian, the lower abdomen. And I've taught a few guys how to do a few exercises. But it does. When you stimulate your organ, you do stimulate more testosterone. But if you have an orgasm daily, you lower your testosterone.
Whoa.
So
that's crazy.
So, but there is healthy and unhealthy ways to do that. So we've had this discussion a lot, Mike and I.
That is so crazy, though, to hear that. That's
yes, you want to have normal orgasms, but
sure.
You don't want to have too many because they have proven through tests that you will lower your testosterone the more orgasms you have. And when you think about it, it's so you want to have sexual stimulation or something kind of stimulation without orgasms,
without losing it, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's
then that
crazy.
way you increase your testosterone in your body, but you still need to have normal sex. It's not about not having orgasms. It's about doing healthy orgasms.
It's about understanding it in a healthy way, and
that whole that's part of life.
Sure.
If you're not,
it
that's
is life.
Huge.
Right?
That's huge as you age and you quit having sex. And I think our generation is really guilty of that because of the amount of crappy food that we've eaten, the toxins that we've been exposed to. It's changing our DNA to where we just don't give a shit anymore. And I'm hearing that even younger people, like 20, 30-year-olds do not care that much about having sex anymore.
Look at how different people are, period. It makes total sense.
That there's stuff going on chemically. And if you guys have ever read, and this is where my nutrition comes in, it's called Pottinger's Cats. I recommend you read it. It's a short little book, very interesting. They took cats and gave them crappy food and gave some really good food based on what their diet should be. And the ones that ate the shittiest food, they had to quit the experiment within 3 generations because the cats quit reproducing. They got deformed jaws. They got violent towards each other. They didn't have a community sense about them. So they had to stop the study. Once they corrected their diet and got them back more into a normal situation, most of them did repair, but there still was some genetic traits.
Crazy.
I know. So
that is
seeing
insane.
this in our younger generation, like there's a lot of younger people that can't have babies now. And I think a lot of that has to do.
Listen to that.
What, Mike?
You have dealt with several people helping
Yeah. That's been crazy.
Dude,
I'll tell
that's-
them
that's
to come in and I'm
powerful.
like, okay, you need to change your diet. And I'm like, don't get pregnant for a little while. We need to change your diet. And they come back in a month and they're pregnant. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, how can
need
you
to-
argue with that? See what I mean?
That one's crazy because that's not.
This stuff is beautiful. It's crazy, man. How cool it is. It's really neat.
Yeah, that one. And I've had a few people that were really pessimistic, like really. I
And
don't
even it
believe
worked.
what you're, and they got pregnant within.
That
Like-
just sells it even more.
And they've been
It-
trying for years, and they got
crazy,
pregnant
man.
like within a month or two. And I'm like, no, don't get pregnant yet. You got to get your diet.
yeah, we're still trying to get everything in line. Never mind.
You're pregnant.
Working.
Okay.
It's truly incredible to hear just all the information you've even said. How much more?
Oh, and it's big. It's
Like,
way bigger than
5,000 years this thing has worked, and
Again.
we don't want to talk about it.
right.
It's really sad.
It is. But
I've
we're
never,
talking about it, though. Thank you.
I'm happy. I really am. I think this would be an incredibly cool episode for everybody to see and listen to.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I already know like a few people that, you mentioned the Crohn's. We know somebody personally that
Very
that
close.
deals with Crohn's, and I think that he will definitely appreciate this episode.
absolutely what, and listening, you can feel it when you talk. You can just feel it. The intelligence and the wisdom of it. Like you sound different when you talk about stuff. So I can't wait for people to hear it. When you meet you, like, you can just feel that. I think it's so cool. It's powerful.
Well, I hope I do the medicine justice because
I think you do incredible justice to all of everything you do.
because the the big thing is this medicine. You've heard how I feel about it,
Mhm.
right? You've seen my passion. This medicine is so powerful. Just those few stories I've told you. I mean, when we see that dog walking, that's powerful, right?
Oh yeah.
So I just hope people will be able to maybe lighten up and embrace it a little bit. I'm treating somebody right now that, they've got a family member that's very skeptical. And it's like, it's so hard for me to pull out the stops sometimes. It's like, I'll do my best. And I know from that master, I have to let it go because it'll prove itself in time. Maybe not in my lifetime, but it'll prove itself in time. And if you go to a good doctor, then you don't go to somebody that's bastardizing it. That's just like with you.
I think people aren't stupid, and they can feel it when they do it. So if you feel something like that, go away. Don't go there. Try something new, right? I really
Maybe
think
that's a good way to look at it.
I felt you can feel it when we go in there. You can tell if someone's full of shit or not. Almost immediately. Listen to yourself when you go in there. You can feel it, man, when you talk about it.
I hope so.
And so I think people need to listen. I really do. Listen to yourself when you're doing stuff. Even though you're going to your doctor, shoving more whatever the hell he's trying to give you. You already know it's wrong. We can feel that.
Are you the one that figured out your brother-in-law? Weren't you the one
Mhm.
that said, "Hey, I feel this.
Oh, totally.
This is not right."
Yeah.
You're the one that saved his life, right?
I guess you could say that in a way. I guess, yeah. I
Nobody else was his advocate. Nobody else was.
yeah. Man. And that's so sad to say that because those people are credible too for what they do. But when you really feel something, it's weird and say something.
Did they listen?
Yeah, they did.
Well, after they did all the studies that were unnecessary, they listened to us.
It took a long time, but they did. Afterward.
They were testing him for AIDS and stuff. I'm like, he's had a brain injury for 18 years. He's not doing heavy drugs and he's not having sex. And nobody's raping him. You're wasting your time.
So they pushed it. Not.
But they still did all the tests.
It was crazy, and yeah, I'm like, listen, man, you guys are killing it. I don't know. It was a weird experience.
But you know how to feel, so people need to tap into that, right?
Yeah,
They need to. Again, we need to start taking responsibility for our health. where we can,
For sure.
and start listening and understanding and be open. That's a big thing, is be open. I understand we're trying to protect ourselves, and when we see needles, it is a natural reaction to shy away, because that's just our innate DNA saying, do not poke me, I will bleed to death.
Right.
That's just a normal DNA thing. So, but there's too many people that have been served by this.
Right.
And, what you gave us a copy of something, Jade. It was a picture of somebody with needles in their back, and it said stabbing. What did that say?
I don't remember.
What does it say, the picture she gave us?
The one we have in the office?
Yes.
It says acupuncture proof that stabbing someone can help.
And that sums it up.
Yes, that can end the podcast.
Say no more.
Yes.
It goddamn works, man. I haven't had it, but I've watched it work. It's incredible.
What was that?
Instant relief from the nerve pain.
It did.
It's really bizarre to see it, to watch
But
it.
again, it was not long term. I'm not that good yet. Maybe there are some doctors that can get the long term effect.
What? How quick? How long term is the pills you're shoving in your face to make you feel good for a hot second?
Yeah. And
Right?
it
Same
does
idea.
over time get to where it is.
Listen.
Although you've had instant results, not instant, but within one treatment, you've had amazing results. Almost every time, except for your knee.
It took time and patience, but
On the knee, yeah.
I still have my original parts.
Yeah.
No-
And you're pretty
no-
happy with
no
it.
screws,
And
no-
we're not done. We will be treating him for the rest of his life, on and off.
He would, as he would if he had a fake one.
I don't know.
You see what I mean?
don't-
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
It's an
Yeah.
ongoing thing. Yeah.
I just didn't want to have my husband's leg cut off. And there is
Or his
some-
penis.
I won't take him in if it's hard and throbbing. I will not take him in.
Don't go into the doctor if you have a bone. I don't get that commercial. I'm telling you, if I have a 5-hour problem, I know where I'll be home. I'm not. I'm gonna enjoy this.
We hope so, right? That would be my biggest wish for you.
Right.
I love how you said you're gonna enjoy this.
Wait, what did I mean by that? We're gonna cut that piece out. Not a problem. He's a really good editor.
Good. Okay, there you go.
Did we get it? Did we cover it?
Oh, I think
Is
we
it-
covered way more than people will want to hear.
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I would watch this episode go insane.
Yeah, I
Well,
think there's a chapter 2 to this coming.
Well, we do. I do
It's-
have another friend that she said she would do like a Zoom if we ever wanted to. That's a doctor of Oriental medicine.
I would be.
In Albuquerque,
honored.
that's why I kept my New Mexico license. We are considered primary care physicians in
Wow.
New Mexico. So it's pretty big there.
That's cool.
So Medicare covers us there.
We
But-
need to do that here.
Yeah, I agree. Again, but then maybe not. Wouldn't it be better if they just gave you guys some money and said, okay, you're going to get $5,000 to go do alternative medicine and you get to choose?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the best thing? And then they wouldn't be thumbing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be the best thing.
anything would be great, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Because they do that in, I got trained in America, but I got trained by some people from Canada, and they have a money, set aside for that.
Yeah. I think it's cool. That would be cool because watching it work with her has been quite the experience.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, I'm glad. I mean, I'm not glad that happened and brought me here by any means.
No,
But
think
I just wish we could have made it magically go away in 2 days. I'm sure you did too.
well, I mean, my mom missed work for 5 weeks, and so, and lost some eyesight and hearing loss. So you prevented me from going down that route.
So far, we're not done yet. But
I know, but I'm on the up.
how much better are you from day one?
I would say
and we're 2 weeks into it. And typically when I've treated patients for shingles, they usually come into me later on, like a month in, and they're still in severe pain. So I think we're making some good progress. The other patient that I had that had similar to you, and I did not treat her as aggressive. She was done with it. I think it was probably about 3 weeks. So, but hers wasn't as severe, and we weren't as aggressive. So, what was that?
Mine was very severe.
Yes, yes. Out of all the you got bad fast. You were really bad, really fast. Yes, you were one of the worst cases I've seen.
I do have to say, if I didn't have my nerve pain, I would feel better though than before I got shingles. Like
Oh, really?
My body. That's the thing. My body feels really good right now, but it's the nerve pain that is the issue.
Right.
Well,
But we have shut it off in some areas, haven't we? And that's my concern, is we want to get it shut off. We want to stop the signaling. So, like with the dog, we want to create the signaling. With you, we don't want that there. So we want that to stop.
For somebody like that, obviously we have a big Utah audience. Are you only doing inpatient like in Wyoming, or do you do like?
I do house calls in Utah.
Okay, and do you do like phone consultations at all, or like those kind of things?
It's not ethical for us. There are people doing telehealth. I was taught it's not ethical because we should see them. It's kind of like you can tell a person that a tattoo was going to go a certain way by talking to them on the phone. You have to see their skin. You have to see, you've got to smell them. You've got to touch them. You've got to, granted, I can give people a general idea, but it's really not ethical unless we see them in person. Now, I know there are people doing telehealth because of the circumstances. That's not how I am practicing. I need to see them. I can do consults as far as, well, these are general ideas for nutrition, and these are general ideas that work good for certain situations. I can give them things like that, but to really give them a diagnosis, I need to see them. I cannot imagine looking at somebody on an iPad. You can diagnose them.
It's weird.
I don't know
they do it.
how that works.
That's what's happening, right?
I know.
That's the world right now.
It's a hands-on medicine.
Yeah. You see that.
Which is
very
effective.
Yes. So,
which we need more of.
yeah. And, there might be something in the future that we could work out if necessary. So, yeah. And there's a lot of people that have been trained that only have 2 years of training, but they've been practicing for 30 years. So you don't want to negate that. They're going to be great practitioners because they have had so much experience. They got trained the basics. Like when they first started this medicine, there wasn't a really strong accredited program. And so there's people that have been practicing for 30 years that really know what they're doing. They've had a lot of other training since then.
Enough to prove it on a test and pass it and create this.
They may not have had to do the same testing that I did because they trained so long ago.
Yeah.
But there's like, if you get some new people, you just want to make sure that they've got good training. I can't stress that enough. You don't. I just can't even imagine going to somebody that had no training, minimal.
And I think with you guys, you can just feel it going in there. There's nothing else to prove it. How does a doctor prove it? There's stuff on his wall. Like we just think they're the answer always. It's pretty creepy. You know what I mean?
What was that,
like?
Mike?
Just all the plaques on the wall, I got them off the internet.
Yeah, you got all those off the internet.
It's weird, dude. You think about it. That's creepy, man.
Yeah, I know.
You just trust that that they got it figured out, and it's weird. That's cool.
Yeah. So, any rate, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it,
Dude.
a lot.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you ever wanted to maybe I don't know. Could we ever do a treatment? A filmed treatment on Junior?
I don't see.
I mean, he has a knee that we need to take a look at.
Hey, easy. He wants to cut me open. He wants to see inside it.
Oh, we've already discussed it, haven't we?
Quick, give me that razor blade. That's Dre.
Oh, no. Well, there's different ways to do that.
I think it'd be cool, man.
To do a treatment on you?
I do. Yeah, hell yeah. I'd be down. Totally down.
I don't know. That's kind of unethical, I think.
Not for me.
That's very touchy with HIPAA.
Yeah, it is. Well, the thing is if you're doing that, then people might just copy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we don't want to get you in trouble. That's why we don't do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how it's neat stuff,
We could
man.
have some needles in you afterwards. Maybe. After I got some needles in you, we could do that.
You could just be tattooing me.
Or I mean, he's the patient. He could tell his story, right?
Yeah.
You might not show the treatment, but you can.
Well, he can see they can show the needles in him.
Okay.
But
Yeah, talking about that would be cool. I'd be down for sure. Would you do it?
I want to do the cupping.
oh, come on, you chicken shit.
Yeah.
I can't cut your fucking knee open.
Come
Just-
on. See, this is why. See?
Well, you know
This
what?
is
Fuck
the
it. Let's do the
stigma.
bleeding.
Let's.
All right,
My dad didn't raise no bitch.
let's do it.
Let's do the bleeding.
That's how I was raised.
What Mike's going to say
Number
something.
one thing we hear from people when you talk to them about acupuncture and they say, I'm deathly afraid of needles. Well, explain to them a little bit about the difference between a hypodermic and an acupuncture needle.
They're very different.
Sensations.
The
The
needles,
one's 4 fucking inches long. No, I'm just kidding.
the needles are typical. Yeah, sometimes they're like a thick hair. They're not very big. And there are some that are bigger because we need to have that strength of the needle. Like when we're doing the scalp, we don't want a needle that's like going like this because it hurts. We want one that we know we can guide the direction we need it to. But they're really not that bad. People, you'd be surprised. But the people that are, there are people that are super needle sensitive. And I'm aware of that. When we did the oncology, there were people that you cannot touch because their skin is so sensitive. So you've got to be, if you're a good practitioner, you're going to be aware of that, and you're going to either that or you're going to have to send them to somebody else. You're going to adjust your treatment based on what their needs are. So I'll work with people, but I like to take them into a treatment that first time, let them lay there, put some needles in them that are usually non-invasive that you can't hardly feel. You know, might be one or two, but they're not that big of a deal. They calm down. Then they can start feeling what the acupuncture does, and they can relax to it. It may take 2 or 3 treatments for them to understand it. The first treatment I had, the practitioner didn't tell me a damn thing. She laid me down, stuck a bunch of needles in my back, and I thought she was going to puncture a lung. I was freaked out. And then...
That's why you're coughing.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just old. Any rate, I needed to treat my lungs. Any rate, so when I treat, I try to talk to people and explain to them what's going on and give them a choice, because that's one of the huge problems, I think, with practitioners when they just needle and don't educate. A lot of those people have grown up around that, and there's no question. You don't know what the hell I'm doing. You have no clue what I'm doing. And so I try to give information when I'm doing it. And I ask a lot because I want people to feel like they can say, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. And I'll push people. If there's a point that it's like, no, this one's kind of important. It's going to hurt. But it's important for me to do this point. And then they'll usually go with it. But sometimes I have to remove a needle, and that's all there is to it. So it's not like I'm going to make you lay there and stab the shit out of you. I'm not going to do that.
Yes, you are. If Dre, you talking to him? He's going to get stabbed.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, dude, you really need to get stabbed.
That's what we do here, stabbing bitches.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You do it, and then you just go from there. Jade's not a big fan of it, are you?
You're on your weight loss journey.
Needles.
Open up
You're not a big fan of it. Tell us what your experience was.
with acupuncture.
Yeah.
I'm just a baby.
Well, tell
A
me what your
baby that-
experience was when I did it.
Tattooed like
It's been years since I even did it.
But tell me what went on when you did it. Do you remember?
I remember sitting super still, feeling like I couldn't, like I wasn't wanting to move, right? Just
Right.
like you wouldn't with the needle sticking out of you,
Right.
but nothing that was extremely uncomfortable. I
You
think
don't-
the shot you did in my arm right here was more uncomfortable than the needles. She's all. But other
No.
than that, like, easy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Because it wasn't, yeah. Yeah, when I did the injection therapy here, that was not that big of a deal, was
Yeah.
it? So it's not a big deal.
But yeah, a cupping, I can do that all day. I love it. So you know that.
Yeah. So I don't know, I got addicted to the needles. That's why I do it. You know.
I'm addicted to needles too.
Yeah, I totally addicted. Totally addicted. You do it 3 or 4 times and I don't know.
Was it hard to do? You mentioned it earlier about doing it yourself, self acupuncture. Was
Yeah.
it hard to get to that? Like, was it hard doing it yourself?
Be able to do it to you.
Yeah.
It depends on the needles. I try to pick points that's easy because if I move, that gets really uncomfortable because I have to pull them out. So there's a lot of belly treatments, Hari treatments that you can do in the abdomen that are absolutely amazing. I do a lot of scalp acupuncture on myself. Sometimes I'll do face. I should do more face for my age, but whatever. The scalp is really intense, but it's a powerful treatment, very powerful. I don't like to do my own arms because I bend my arms and that can get bad. I had a friend that she treated herself and I've done it too. And I got needles stuck in me and you cannot get them suckers out.
Like a little hair just stuck there.
No, they bend and they get stuck in the tendon
Oh, Godfrey.
and you cannot get them out.
Makes me hurt.
Yeah, they are not comfortable when you're needling yourself. So it gets a little bit uncomfortable. It would be best if I go to somebody, but when I come here, I usually go for the injection therapy, the acupoint injection therapy that I do. Because, but I do that in Utah. Because if I'm going to come down here, I need to get the biggest bang for the buck because I only have I can't get down here and get treatments all the time.
Right.
And there's nobody up there that's certified. So I think there's a chiropractor, but I don't have any. They don't have any qualified training that I know of.
Right.
It's not certified. So maybe he has good training. I don't know, but it's not. So I don't go to him.
Yeah.
But I find the belly's pretty easy to do. And I got a little bit of belly, so it works pretty good. Like I said, I don't like the bent needles. That's no fun. Ask me about that. That was not fun.
I think I'm way good on that.
Bending needles?
Ooh,
You've bent needles
that
before?
would hurt, man.
Oh, it was.
Hell with that.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Ooh, I'm good.
I can't do an ear treatment on myself because I can't really get them in there. I can't do my back.
That'd be hard to reach.
And I don't like doing my feet because you have to lift your leg up, and then by the time that you put your foot down, the tendons have moved. That's why you don't want to move.
What if people they can't even touch their feet? Are you able to get it?
You can do other parts of the body to transfer to the feet.
Okay. See, that's cool.
So yeah, it's back to headaches. I've treated other body parts and it's taken away the headache.
That's so crazy.
I know that one's fun though, because people will come in skeptic and I'll do 1 or 2 needles and their headache will be gone. And they'll just look at me like, you didn't touch my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, I didn't. And how did that work? And I don't know. It's magic. I don't know. I really don't.
Stuff's cool, man.
I know. It's just like, I don't know. But you understand power. You've got power down. You know that. You know it's weird.
Yeah.
It's really strange how it will go. You will not expect it to go away that it goes. And that's exactly how this works. It's like, why is it doing that?
Yeah.
Have you run across that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, you guys are smart. I don't even get it.
Yeah, you do. If you understand power, you do. You get it.
It's neat, man. That's neat.
And
What you
it's-
guys do is cool.
I'm just glad that I got to talk to you about it. And I was really excited about that because I knew you would understand the power part of it.
For sure.
And all it is electrons moving, right?
Yeah.
What's a nerve?
Same.
It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see it, you can't touch it, but it can kill you.
Yep.
So because it's in such large amounts.
It's crazy. It's all weird how it's out there.
But it's theory, like you said, right?
Yeah, it's theory. Everything's theory. Life is theory.
Right. You are theory.
Yeah.
You're not really there.
Oh man, we're all in a dream anyway.
You're just a bunch of energy.
Yeah.
Just all combined
It's
together,
creepy.
right?
It's creepy.
It makes your
No
head
one
hurt.
knows. No one even knows.
What time is it? 11. Oh goodness, we got to be done.
God, we did another long one.
Oh,
3
should have
hours.
made it
3 hours 15 minutes.
Oh, that should have been.
That's
an
like
hour
the other
one.
one. Oh my
Should have been
God.
an hour.
I got a 2-hour drive to get home.
Yeah.
And a snowcat ride. Sorry. These people live on horseback, clear out in the middle of nowhere. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You guys are really cool. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So Dre can do all his stuff on it.
Yeah, cut it
Yep.
down, way down.
They'll see.
Like
We
to
did
an
another good
hour.
one. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks, Ryan Riley. Thanks, Dre.